Salute, salute, salute. Make sure you get your Sunman coffee mugs from the Ock Nation merch store. Get your Sunman coffee mugs, man. Your glider. Get your Crouching Tiger, your Ombrito. Make sure you get your coffee mug, man. Available at the Ock Nation merch store. Link in the description box. Um, what city? We're gonna get to that, man. I'm gonna let y'all guess. I should put a poll up. Pause. Yo, go to the Ock Nation merch store, man. We got glider cups, glider coffee mugs. It say Glacier Glider on it though. Glacier Glider. We got we got Ombrito. Let me pull up the merch store now, man. So I can show you guys. Cause some of y'all are new, right? Some of y'all are new, man. Some of y'all are new. Let me just hit the goddamn link in the description box. Oh man, my wife she wants to. Oh God, the sky's falling. Hold on, the sky's falling. Wait up, wait a second. Yeah, man. My daughter's her sleep is messed up because of the spring forward. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. You can hit the link. You can come up and hit the link if you want. You can hit the link if you want to, and I'll let y'all come up. My daughter ain't going to sleep right now, man. My daughter is not going to sleep. She ain't going to sleep, man. Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Ain't nothing. The floor is yours, man.
All right. What are we talking about? This is my first time.
Yeah, man. What's on your mind, man?
No, man, this shit is so I was on here earlier and I was kind of I don't know, I was getting the impression that if I got the idea that like we were kind of I thought it was going off the rails a little bit, like where we were, and I know this is sort of the thrust of the channel and stuff like that, but I felt like it was sort of going off the rails a little bit when it was like it felt like we were looking at the worst Sunman examples as the sort of standard for what Sunman is, and then we were kind of like, relegating the sort of everyday Joe six pack glider as a sort of standard. When I grew up in Flatbush in Brooklyn, and I found it to be like kind of down the middle with where I was growing up. Like it's just like half of the people there were just regular cats just trying to live their lives or whatever they were into, whatever the fuck they were into. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Um, and so it was just kind of 50-50. I didn't see like this vast majority of cats that were just sort of going left or whatever.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so that was kind of my personal experience of it. And I felt like it was sort of going a little bit like extreme.
Hmm.
But I know that that's kind of, I understand that that's like the thrust of the channel, but I felt like it was given like a weird impression, like all Sun men, or at least the vast majority of them, like kind of ain't about shit. And
Well, do you watch the show?
I do, I love it. I love your show.
Can you name any of the black panelists?
No, I know you. The other ones kind of switch up a little bit, and I don't, but I don't know the other cats like that. I just really, my focus is more on the host. I haven't really.
Well, what percentage of the other black panelists would you say are like street thugs or something like that, or
No,
killers or
I
something?
don't. I didn't get the impression that anybody was really a street thug. Everybody seemed to be kind of forward thinking cats. Even if they did have a little bit of like sort of a harder lean to them. You know what I mean? They all seem to be thinkers to me. But I can't name anybody specifically. But I could just tell by the way cats were speaking that these are people with, they got a little bit of they sort of think about things a little bit more profoundly than the average cat. This is my impression of it.
No reason I'm saying that is because if your perception is that like we're spinning it that most Sun men are like you know the type of people we see on these stories, then but the majority of the Sun men that are on the show aren't like that.
That's true. So that also illustrates the point. You have X amount of sun men on the panel, and all of them are kind of forward thinkers, or at least they're people with accountability. You know what I mean? They just ain't like on some liberal shit where they just kind of accept everything that we do as some kind of outcropping of institutionalized racism or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? Where people kind of lean into that and sort of take away accountability from themselves or from the community at large.
Hmm. So when you were in Bed Stuy, the brothers that were not wayward, what was their impression of the guys that were shooting and just that were giving Brooklyn Bed Stuy's name, like what I'm saying, the street
Well,
guys? What was their impression?
see, now which Bed-Stuy you talking about? You talking about recent Bed-Stuy, like in the last
So
10,
about
15
you
years?
in your heyday.
When I was out there in Brooklyn, yo, Bed-Stuy was crazy, man. It wasn't like it's not like it is now. Bed-Stuy is almost like, I don't know if you're familiar with Williamsburg, right?
Only from the stories that I do hear. I'm not familiar from Williamsburg from actual personal experience.
Okay, so Williamsburg is like hipster central. You know what I mean? It's a gentrified area, and so like there's a Starbucks every couple of blocks, and these like sort of specialty coffee shops and shit like that. It's a totally different vibe right now. But back in the days, uh, Bed-Stuy was a nightmare, man. It was called Do or Die Bed-Stuy for a reason. That place was terrible. It was awful. So I mean, it, and when the gliders sort of came in, it was sort of frowned upon. But I mean, if I had to be honest, it's a much better place right now. To be honest with you, it's a little bit safer, you know. Um, yeah, Yeah,
Is
but I'm
there
not sure
more?
what
Is
you're
there
getting at
more?
by asking me about Bed-Stuy, brother.
No, I mean, I'm not asking you about Bed-Stuy. I'm asking you about your home. I thought you were from Bed-Stuy.
No, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Flatbush, East Flatbush,
Flatbush. I meant
like
to
the
say
Junction
Flatbush.
area over there.
Okay, Flatbush.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I'm from originally. I'm not from Bed-Stuy originally, and thank God. I don't know. I may not be standing here if I was from Bed-Stuy originally. Bed-Stuy was crazy, man.
Okay. You said you talked about Williamsburg though. So let's see what's going on over in Williamsburg. Let's go to the tape,
All right.
and I'm gonna let you. When I pause it, I'm gonna let you comment.
All right.
I'll let you go. I'm gonna let you rock. You the only one came up, so it's your show.
A Jewish man walking on Rodney Street near Marcy
Oh man,
slapped so hard his hat flies.
this is already bad. Damn.
The NYPD says it happened last night around 7:30.
It's ridiculous. Sounds crazy. It's getting worse by the day.
The suspect seen running away is now wanted for assaulting the 39-year-old husband and father. I spoke with the victim's wife, who did not want to go on camera, but she says he and the family are traumatized. No words were exchanged before the incident. He was just walking home from the train station.
Go ahead, man.
What? I don't know what you're asking me right now, brother.
No, I'm saying you brought up Williamsburg, and
Yeah.
and this is what's going on in Williamsburg. So let's get some commentary.
I mean, what do I got to say about it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is there to say, man? I ain't the cat that's gonna sit here and make excuses for brothers. That is not that's not what I'm about. I'm just pointing it out. Like, all right, the cats that I hung out with when I was coming up, you might have had. Let's say I was hanging out with 10 people in my general vicinity in my neighborhood. You might have one cat among us that would have done some shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of crazy, man. This dude is wilding and I can't. Dude's a degenerate, man. What you want? I ain't got no. I can't. I'm not gonna make excuses for that.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
Words were exchanged before the incident. He was just walking home from the train station. Former Brooklyn Assemblyman Dov Hikind tweeted, "This attack resembles Nazi Germany, where anti-Semites attack Jews with glee. We won't tolerate it." The man was not injured, but he's the second Jew to be targeted in 1 week in the area. In an unrelated incident Saturday on Broadway around 1 p.m., a 42-year-old man was violently punched in the face by a stranger who shouted anti-Jewish slurs at him. Police say that attacker also ran away. Rachel Grinspan of the Anti-Defamation League says anti-Semitic incidents are not only becoming more common, but more violent.
What we have been seeing, unfortunately, is an increase in the violence that has been displayed against members of the Jewish community.
The latest numbers from the NYPD show a 67% increase in hate crimes since the beginning of the year. It's making community members like Isaac, who has lived here for 50 years,
More looking over my shoulder.
the victim in yesterday's
All right.
attack is back at work. He may be more cautious, but
Wow.
It looks like it appears to be a game or something, you know?
Yeah. You dude is wilding, but there's no. So okay, you had one clip in there and looked like a dude spit in his face, right? He was like spitting at a dude. He looked like a hombrito. He was spitting in a dude's face, right?
Mm-hmm.
That clip there. Now I saw the original clip. I actually maybe even saw it on your show.
Mm-hmm.
Now they had some prior thing going on between the two of them. The dude, they got into a conflict that I wouldn't necessarily have sided with either of them. I thought maybe the guy went a little far with it, but this wasn't an unprovoked situation, and that was just a snippet that they took from that and put it in this same instance, which I don't know what the pretext or what the story.
Well, they had to show some non-blacks doing that stuff too. That was the pretext for that. But let me move along.
No, but they didn't show any non. Yeah, I guess so. But here's the thing. You see the way that the liberal left tends to try to remove blame from some men for the things that they do, and they try to blame it on some systemic stuff. In other words, they're almost in the media. They're almost like a protected class, right?
Hmm.
Which is not a good thing. I don't think this is a good thing. Ultimately, I think it's gone to a level that is extreme, and it's just completely off the rails right now. But the this community, they also fall into the same category where a lot of the pathologies in their community will be covered up, and like excuses will be made, and then certain historical events will immediately be thrown in your face, and blah 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 blah
Hmm.
blah. You
Right,
understand
right.
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, of course.
Bandaged and badly bruised, 42-year-old Ari Ellis stands with his Brooklyn community just days after he was attacked on Eastern Parkway.
I don't understand why, you know, they had to pick me.
Police say the Orthodox Jewish man was punched in the face repeatedly about a week and a half ago, left with broken ribs and a broken nose.
I wonder, do people realize this is anti-Semitism?
We would like people to help us to locate the person who committed this horrible attack on an innocent person.
Dozens calling for justice at the corner of Schenectady Avenue and Rutland Road.
Being able to walk down the street without being hurt is a civil right that every person has.
At the Crown Heights intersection, another Jewish man was assaulted Saturday afternoon while walking home from synagogue.
I greeted them hello, and go continue. Next thing I know is that he said, "I don't like Jews." Who are you talking to? I don't talk to Jews. He put me in a headlock, and I'm trying to maneuver out of him. And in the meantime, I'm screaming, "Help! Help! Help!"
A lot of dudes walking around here with black eyes, bro.
It's true. It's true. But again,
I think it's
again,
the media trying to
I think
portray a certain image.
I
They're
think there's no pretext. These are just clips. They're selected clips, and I gotta understand the backstory. And yeah, I get
Well,
what you're
with
saying.
the,
there's a lot of clips, brother. A lot of them.
they said they're unprovoked attacks. You're not listening. You got
No,
the
but they're
manuscript.
saying they're unprovoked attacks, but that doesn't mean anything. That means that they spoke to the guy who made a complaint. Because they called the news, and then the dude said, "Look, I didn't do anything. He attacked me. He said X and X." And now, what do you got? Do we believe it or do we not?
I think you're reaching.
Well, I could.
You know,
Listen,
but you don't
I'm
wanna
not.
you don't wanna look in the mirror.
No, it's not that, bro. It's not about looking in the mirror or not. It's I don't. It's I don't. I'm not a person to turn a blind eye to the pathologies of my people. I'm not like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I also understand that anybody can say anything. You can take a clip of anything on the news. Somebody comes on, he ain't gonna tell you, "Oh, I got into a thing or I said something nasty to the dude. He saw me a day later and ran up on me. I said some slick shit to him. The next day he ran up on me. Should he have run up on him and hit him? There's no excuse for that. But there may have been a backstory, and we're not hearing a backstory. We're just hearing from that
Yeah,
dude. Like
but
for instance,
I thought
hey,
you
brother,
said you watched this show.
I do watch the show.
So you see what I see, right?
I'm seeing what you're seeing, but I'm addressing what I'm seeing in front of me right now.
Well, that I feel you on that, brother. I'm trying to draw you back to the bigger picture, but I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, 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 not at all, brother. I just um all I'm saying is if you take snippets, like for instance, we'll see some altercation, right? Some man gets popped by a
A
cop,
Jewish
right?
man walking on
God,
Rodney Street
oh
near
god.
Marcy Street in Williamsburg suddenly slapped
You're
so
killing me
hard
with
his
this.
hat. A possible anti-Asian hate crime was caught on camera in Brooklyn. A deli owner says he was assaulted after a customer refused to pay for his food. CBS 2's Kevin Rincon has the story from Flatbush.
Jessica, the Lee family
Oh, it's
has
in my
been in
hood
this
too.
neighborhood
Oh
for the
man.
last 15 years. They've had issues here and there, but never anything like this. On Saturday morning, here inside Lee's Deli, 67-year-old owner Kai Tae Lee was attacked.
Where did he hit you? Over here, over here. Yeah, yeah.
He says his wife had stepped out for just a moment when a man grabbed some food and refused to pay for it.
Free everything.
He didn't want to pay.
Yeah, no pay, yeah.
Moments later, he started to trash the front counter.
Wow.
When Lee tried to stop him, he was wrestled to the floor
Wow.
and punched repeatedly.
Wow.
Customers of all backgrounds are shocked.
La verdad, no se merecen eso. No merecen que les hagan eso.
They both say Lee didn't deserve to be attacked. They've been coming to this deli for years, called this store an important part of the neighborhood. Michael Mead came here for some essentials. He lives nearby.
It's tragic. I mean, this is a great family, hardworking, here every single day, working 365 days a year. It's heartbreaking to see it. And just want to come out here and support them.
The attack, which was caught on security camera video, is being examined as a possible anti-Asian hate crime.
Wow.
The owner says the attacker has made anti-Asian comments in the past, but he's not sure whether he did this time. Lee did go to the hospital, but luckily didn't suffer any serious injuries. Meanwhile, just a month ago, two men smashed the front door to this deli after screaming at Lee, "Go back to your country."
I think we all have to stand together with them now and make sure that they're okay and that our community is okay.
A day after the assault, investigators were back out here collecting more evidence, including the security video. And so far, police have not made an arrest, but there is an entire community here hoping they do find that man and bring him to justice.
Damn, dude, beat the brakes off that old man.
What's up, Ray Wall?
Wow, cat is wild.
Hey, salute. Make sure y'all the $5 challenge. Salute the starter for starting the $5 challenge. Salute to Vanessa. She says, salute to you and your crew. You're doing God's work. Salute to Vanessa. Start the $5 challenge up. We rocking it out and doing daddy duty. Go ahead. What's your thoughts, man?
Oh, what do I have to say about that?
Hey, I did want to ask you a question, brother, if you don't mind.
Me?
Yeah, you. Earlier, I think I heard you say that you thought Ag was portraying Sunman in a certain way or something.
Yeah, I said that to you.
No, I wasn't sure if I understood what you meant, but I thought I heard you say that Ag was portraying Sunman in a particular light.
Well, I feel, this is what I was saying. I was getting the impression at some point that it was like, you see this pathological cat that you just saw in that store, beating down the Asian cat. Like, this is the normal cat. This is like how everybody rocks. Let's give a number. Let's say 3/5, right? Or 3/4, right? Of all Sunmen are carrying on like that. And I don't agree with that. That hasn't been my experience.
I don't think anybody is arguing that, though. I don't think I've ever heard anyone on here arguing it.
I have. Okay, so I have seen intimations within the conversations and even in the chat, and I wish I could go back and look at it. And I was like, wow, that's a little bit of
would this apply to what you're getting at? So if I said I'm in Chicago, right. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but I'm here in Chicago, right?
Okay, fair enough.
If I were to tell you, and this is kind of for me a given, and it's obvious, but not all black people are stealing Kias. But it would seem that virtually all the Kias are being stolen by black people. Would that be fair for me to say?
Yeah, why not?
But that's kind of
two things, because there were two things. First, you said that it seems that all the Kias that are being stolen by black people. And of course, you're relating your experience, right? You're relating your personal experience, and you're saying, it seems to me that such and such and such and such. You didn't make a blanket statement. You were giving an impression on your experience or what you have seen.
Okay.
So it's not like all Sunmen are thus and thus. You were saying,
right? But that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, is that I don't think anybody necessarily said what you're implying, but maybe I missed it, you know. But I can't say I've heard that.
I understand. You know, and again, I'm just speaking my brand of bullshit. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Can
I
I ask you
mean,
one last question? I'm
of
sorry,
course,
I don't
brother.
want to keep dragging this on. One
Of
last question, brother. What do you think about the fact that it would seem that 6% of the population in this country is committing about 60% or more of the murders?
6%?
Yes, black men make 6% of the population, and
I
they
thought it was
seem
13%. Oh,
no. Well, that
okay.
includes the
So you
women.
divide that in half. I
That
understand.
includes the women. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, brother.
But 6% of the population seems to be committing about 60% of the murders, or more.
60% or more. I believe that.
Well,
I believe
what,
that.
how would you explain that to me? Like,
But
what is
this,
the reason for that, or how does that make sense? Because that's pretty impressive.
so it's coming out of that one community. 60% of the murders is coming out of the one community, but it's not the 6% of the population. It's not the entire 6% of the population committing murders.
Right, for
It's the
sure, for sure.
criminal element within that 6%. So that's the even smaller number
Yeah,
committing
yeah.
60% of the murders.
But even that speaks a lot. Even what you just said says a lot.
No, it says even more than what you're saying. And considering those stats are 100% true, that's, I mean, that just reflects the level of degeneracy in my community, man. It's like I ain't making any excuses for it.
I don't think.
I'm always one. I've been saying for a minute that half these cats that I knew growing up, they just needed to go.
Yeah,
Period. I made the comment in the comment that we need to like reinstate the death penalty.
I don't think you're making excuses for it. But what I'm asking you is, how would you explain it?
How would I explain it?
Yeah.
I don't, there's a lot of reasons for that, man. And
Okay.
and do I have the answers? If I sat up there and I believe that was one of these people that had the answers, I
Give me
might
the
be running for office.
number one reason you
Don't you
think.
know?
Mind. If you don't have to, if you don't want to, but give me the number one reason.
The number one reason. If I had to throw something out there, I would say maybe I could give you two. I give you two. There was a correlation that I saw between, they say that art imitates life and vice versa, I believe, to some degree, right? Life imitates art. I'm gonna go with that in this instance. And I noticed, like, from where I grew up in Flatbush, Flatbush was always a little bit trouble. Like most Sun Men communities, it's always a little bit trouble. We had a little, like you go a couple of blocks, 10 blocks this way into like the Midwood area, and birds were chirping and shit, butterflies, squirrels playing with chipmunks, and then you come to where I live, and it was a little raggedy. And this was always the case. So people didn't own the properties where I lived, and so they didn't feel any connection to it. So cats would just be littering all over the place, peeing in the stairwells and in the elevators, and blah blah blah. There's a disconnect between ownership and such. Now,
So the reason they were doing those things is because they didn't own the
no, no,
houses.
no. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just pointing out, a factor as I move along, as I get to the point. I think I noticed. Now, I don't know how long this problem persisted in the community, like how long it's been really bad in our communities. Because me, I'm just under 50 years old, right?
The
So,
1860s, since
huh?
1865.
Since what you
For a
said?
while,
Since
Since
no, since for a
1865.
while, from what we've done here in this channel that you say you follow for a
uh-huh.
long time, brother. Like
I know
there's
what
articles,
I'm saying.
there's
It's been going
articles
on
that
at
we
least
that
as long as I've been alive. You know. Now
yeah, for sure.
I hear that it wasn't. There were earlier periods where it wasn't that bad. This is what I'm hearing. I hear this from as far as the crime and murder rates.
Police are looking for 4 suspects in connection with a stabbing at an Upper East Side subway station. Investigators have released these images of the suspects, one of them accused of stabbing a 30-year-old man on a southbound 4 train platform inside the 59th Street Lexington Avenue station. It happened around midnight Friday night after police say an argument between the suspects and the victim escalated into a physical fight. The man was taken to an area hospital and is in stable condition.
Good Lord. It's hard to make excuses, man.
It's in our blood, man.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, it has to be, because
I've been trying to figure out the root of it. I thought maybe it was single parent households.
Nah.
I thought I noticed a correlation between like the type of
Police are
music.
searching for the suspect in the brutal attack of a woman in Queens. It happened earlier this week in Flushing near 31st Drive and 140th Street. Investigators say the man punched a 74-year-old woman in the face and knocked her to the ground. She was treated at the scene for her injuries to her head and neck. It's unclear why the suspect targeted her before running off.
Yo, I see stuff like this, and then I start looking. Because I don't get it. I don't understand what it is. And you say it's in our blood. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm starting to believe strange stuff like that. You know what I mean?
It has to be, because
stuff that I can't really qualify or quantify. You know, like I be listening to them. Like sometimes you see these like Israelite cats sitting on corners, and they say like we're cursed, right? It almost feels like that, man. I can't find a proper root for it. You know, and I do understand that these things go on in other communities, because if you go out into the boonies, the sticks, in the middle of the country, in the deep south, these redneck communities, you find similar stuff, man. You find crazy stuff.
Yeah, they steal stuff, but the violence
you find
isn't
hundreds of murders a year in one city.
No,
yeah.
I
The
don't
violence
know.
isn't there.
'Cause I don't live out there. You know what I mean? Like
You don't know.
No, I don't.
You don't know.
No.
Are you saying that there are places in like white areas that have hundreds of murders a
Well,
year?
no. What I'm saying is I see similar nonsense in like these boondocks, like redneck
Can you give us the name of one that we could go there and see for
like
ourselves?
when you go
remember?
like upstate, if you go upstate New York, you drive through some of these like drug infested towns, or like out in New Mexico. Like I was out in New Mexico, and it was really bad, man. It was like really run down out there.
That's what I'm told.
But I can't speak for the murder rates and stuff like that because I don't live out there. You know what I mean? Like
So other than New Mexico, give us one.
Say that again, brother.
Other than New Mexico,
I didn't catch what you said.
Other than New Mexico, we're looking for a place. You have the floor. We're going to go there right now. Show us the place. Where's the place?
I don't know, brother. I don't know. I'm talking about like little small towns that I passed through upstate where I saw crackheads and stuff like that, where stuff that I was used to seeing in black communities, I saw them upstate. Dudes looking cracked out, and I was just like,
well, no, we're not arguing that other groups abuse drugs. Other groups definitely abuse drugs. We're not arguing that other groups do not abuse drugs. I think it's fair to say all groups abuse drugs. But what I'm saying is no other group murders so and so vigorously as that community.
Yeah, but I don't think the murder rates were this high 30, 40 years ago. No, not even say 30. I'm going to say like 50 years ago. I don't think the murder rates were this high in black communities, man.
They were higher than
like it is now. Now I've never seen anything like it in my life, in my whole lifetime. What I've seen in these last couple of years.
I think it feels crazy because of technology and we're able to see it more. But believe it or not, more people were getting murdered in the 90s, 80s, 70s.
Oh no, the 90s were bad. See, this is what I was trying to point out. The 90s, so like the beginning of the 90s and the late 80s, ushered in the whole era of like gangster rap. And I saw how my neighborhood shifted after with the advent of gangster rap.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting you say that, brother, right? Because we've also noticed that back way in the day when the Temptations were singing "My Girl," guess what was going on in those communities?
Was it to the same degree?
Well, again, the 70s, like the late 60s, like 68, 69, it seems to skyrocket.
Listen, people were
So yeah, I
always
would stay
yeah.
around. Yeah, I would argue.
People were. I don't think it's to the level. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine that it is to the level that it is right now. I
Well,
just.
I just told you the 70s were more violent than today. Like it's
Yeah.
not an opinion. I looked at these numbers in astonishment,
I was
and
gonna
then
say
very.
also. Oh, go ahead, Wicked. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say also. You know how some people are. We don't report crime like that when it's internal.
That's
You know,
true.
we just let things go.
Cats
Now
don't
that
like
we have social
yeah.
media and the news, it's being reported, but it wouldn't be uncommon for somebody to stab somebody, and people just don't say anything, and it would just go unreported.
This is true.
So
People don't
now
want
with
to
the
talk.
glider stats.
And brother,
Sorry, go ahead, Wicked.
and really quick, brother. I hope you don't. I'm not trying to attack you. I appreciate your conversation.
No, bro. I ain't taking it
But
like
no,
that, brother. Not at all.
let me finish. Let me finish though, because I'm aware that the Umbritos also have their problems, right? And the Gliders
Right.
have theirs. So
Listen,
I
I'm
don't
both.
want
I come
to
from
feel
both
like
communities, bro. I got
yeah. I
one
mean, I
parent for
think
one.
everyone on this panel, brother. I think everyone on this panel is what I would call a concerned citizen, a frustrated
Yeah.
citizen, or whatever the fuck you
Yeah.
want to call it.
Indeed.
So again, don't
Indeed.
get me wrong. I just think I wanted to say that to you.
No, brother. I'm not taking none of this to heart, man. Like we men, we just having a conversation, man. I'm learning stuff. Like I didn't know that about the 70s. I didn't know the 70s was that bad. But then again, I was a child in the 70s, so I wouldn't really be connected to what was going on in the community like that. But that's interesting, man. And I don't know, man. I've been trying to pontificate and figure out what the whole root of this is, and I just can't. I can't.
Well, I think
don't get
I think I presents a great hypothesis. I'm
it.
sure
What is?
you said what was it?
Yeah. What's the hypothesis?
Well, to put it simply, different groups behave differently, and it could be as simple as DNA. And
Yeah.
it's just is that And again, I understand that you're saying that most black men don't do this, and again, I think that's a fair point. However,
Yeah. Yo, it may be, man. It may just be in the blood, man. I can't because I'm stuck. You know what I'm saying? I can't figure it out. My solution I was like, yo, I'm moving away from y'all, man. I can't I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? I can't be worried with my nephew or my mother or my lady or somebody comes to visit.
Can I interject for a second?
Of course, bro.
This is New York murder rates for the last forever, every year, the New York murder rate. So this is murder right here. That's murder right here. This
Ooh,
this
so
is
it
right.
spiked. I see it spiked in the early 70s, and then it kind of declined in the 80s.
Dude, they had 400 murders last year in New York City.
Good Lord, man.
Last year they had 400 murders. In 1972 they had 2,026.
What?
And all through the 80s, they averaged about 2,000 through the 80s.
Now,
and then it doesn't stop till Giuliani comes in the late 90s.
Oh no, he cleaned it up, man. Listen, we need another Giuliani here.
Well, you know what that means, though, right, brother? You know what that would mean for the black community, right?
What?
That means a lot of fathers are going to go to prison.
Mass incarceration, yeah.
Well, okay, would you rather that cat be incarcerated, or would you rather take out your
well, you know what I'd rather. You know what I did.
Giuliani was a conservative, so he was the first one. Before him was David Dinkins, and before him was Edward Koch. I remember I was a kid. I was a little boy when these guys were in office, and they were horrible. You can shoot a person. I remember my mother telling me, because I moved to the United States in 1984, so this
Uh-huh.
is coming from a migrant's point of view. So I could tell you how Hispanics were, how African Americans were,
Yeah.
Africans, Dominicans. I know how all of them were behaving at that time.
Yeah.
In the 80s, my mother used to say that you see these guys outside in the street, one of these guys can shoot you on Monday and get out of prison by Wednesday. That's how it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And most of the black males in the neighborhood, they didn't know anything except how to break laws. Meaning any law that they passed that it opened a hole for them to break it, they would figure it out
That's
quickly.
true. Like geniuses. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, Cat was a genius.
And
Yes.
there was no rap, no hip hop way back in the 70s, brother.
No, hip hop. Remember, rap music started coming into play really in the 90s. Because in the 80s, there's a lot of places in New York City, even in the inner city. If you listen to rap, your father would beat you. Your father would not let you get a high top fade and stuff like that. So hip rap wasn't that big like that. So it had nothing to do with rap music. It was the culture of lawlessness in itself. That was what was going on in the black community. It was a culture of lawlessness. Was blacks mostly would do things other ethnic groups wouldn't do and not work. That's the problem.
That's interesting.
Some man hates laws.
It's
We hate
true.
authority.
It's true.
Authority, laws, yeah. No, we don't like that.
No, this is very true. And
Well, I mean, the gentleman. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I just got in here.
Robert, my name is Bobby.
On the other individual,
William.
William. Yeah, William's not necessarily wrong. I still think he's picking the wrong period of time. Like I said, I know from William. You said you escaped it with is your grandmother still alive?
None of my grandparents are alive.
No.
No.
See, like people that grew up, I'm telling you, man, the black community in the 30s, 20s, 40s, even into the 50s. I know scholars that have written on this. The parents were together. They had high marriage rates. It was different. Harlem was different. Like Harlem, I know everyone talks about the Harlem Renaissance, blah, 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 but I'm telling you, it was it was run by blacks, and it was safe, comparable to other cities. This is a recent phenomenon that came on from the 60s, and it works its way into other communities with these social programs that breaks up the parents.
I see. This is what I was getting at. Like that's what I didn't know when the welfare system came in. I knew it was somewhere in the 60s or 50s or something
65.
like that. That's why I mentioned single parent homes. You know,
right. Right. The black family was largely intact in the 1940s. It wasn't like everyone blames slavery, but slavery in America was more family oriented than any other slavery anywhere around the world. Blacks were allowed to actually have families. Like on other places, everybody was just broken up and sold, and that happened here too. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like it wasn't like the white people cared about family. What I'm trying to say is that they were bred to make more slaves, and the family was more intact anywhere else because of that. But when slavery went away and then Reconstruction happened, like you can kind of forgive blacks for Reconstruction because you're talking about a group of people that were never taught shit. But then in about 40 years coming out of Reconstruction, they overcame illiteracy in mass, like the fastest group to, obviously, because, you know, they were taught differently than other groups because it was established already, but they overcame literacy and they were doing stuff. And I mean, like I said, your data, you're see, I'm still from the camp that believes that what you believe, but it's just your time frames are just wrong.
They're off. I'm not a historian.
But you're right about that. Like if your grandmother was still alive, you would be able to ask her, like, hey, were black guys going around shooting the shit out of everybody? And they probably say no. And your grandmother, I'm sure, went through the 30s, right? Like when was she born?
Yeah, they were born really, really in the 20s or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
And in the 1930s, I don't know your history. So like if you had a job, they may have been okay. But a lot of people had it. They like one side of my family, he had a job, so they were fine. But the other side, she was poor as shit, but there was no crime.
Right.
You understand what I mean? This wasn't a poverty thing.
Right.
What
I
city,
found
what
that my
city did you live in?
grandparents were
What city
appalled
did
by
you
what
live
they.
in?
Well, I'm sorry. Someone's talking.
Yeah, what city did you live in where you say there was no crime?
You
She was
talking?
in New York.
Well,
I
in
think she was in. I don't think she was in Islip then. I think she was in. I don't know if she was in Queens either. She was on Long Island. Now, when I say no crime, it doesn't literally mean no crime. But what I'm saying is these people didn't have stuff, and it wasn't like they were standing on fucking bread lines for food, and they still weren't stabbing people and shooting them in the street for dollars.
You're talking about the gliders?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and you know, she lived with everybody. She was poor, so she had black friends and white friends. At the time, she was a little kid, and I mean, her fucking father was an alcoholic. You know what I mean? She had a rough ass life, but they still weren't stealing shit. You know what I mean? They weren't stealing shit, but the kids around them weren't stealing shit.
I don't know. I talked to. I remember I used to talk to Colonel Kostakis in the 1980s, in the late 80s. He was my junior high school teacher, and I talked to my friend Steve-O, was my father's friend Steve-O, an Ecuadorian, and he was in the United States in the 1950s and 60s. He was like, these people were always the same. It was always like that. So I mean,
I agree with that.
You're saying that they were peaceful and they used to rob people.
And not that they were peaceful. I mean, there's going to be differences between groups.
The same thing that you're seeing today, it was there. It's just not as aggressive. But the concept of going around robbing migrants, ripping up their green cards and
Right.
people out.
Like I said, the problem is culture. Take the case of the Irish. Like people always say, oh, they were unfairly discriminated against, but the Irish were like, people don't understand. Like Irish need not apply didn't mean blacks can't work there either. Like they would hire blacks over Irish because Irish were like, a lot of them were fucking drugged out on alcohol and fucked up, and they moved on. The culture changes. Cultures change, but it, like I said, people used to say about the Irish, it's in their DNA. That was the reason for that. It's just the way they were. And it changes over time. You know, that's the old joke, the paddy wagon. Like it was called the paddy wagon because they go around picking up all the paddies. You know?
Yeah, but the Irish have assimilated into American culture. The problem
That's
with the
the
Sun
answer.
Man is
Right.
Yeah, but
So you just
Sun
said
Man's
the
been here
answer.
longer though. We've been here longer than the Irish, or some of them, at least, and we still haven't assimilated. Not everybody, at least.
Yeah.
The stigma on the Irish for years have never changed, and the number one stigma behind all Irishmen is that they work hard, and that's a stigma that blacks simply do not have. See, you can assimilate when you're working hard. Like, you can find one thing when I living in Queens, I noticed one thing about a lot of Hispanics is that even the Hispanics that be sniffing cocaine, drinking and stuff like that, when you work hard, you can get over a lot of things. But when you are lazy and you're making excuses and you're waiting for someone to change your surrounding, it's very hard for you to get out of your condition. So the culture in itself is a lazy culture. The Irish people, they work hard. Of course they can assimilate.
Right, but that's what I mean. Now you're bringing it back to culture, which I don't disagree with. You're bringing it back to culture. That's the whole point.
But glider, DNA makes the culture.
It's both. DNA doesn't just make the culture, because then glider culture would have been one culture for 100,000 years, and it's not.
I agree.
You know, like that's what I mean.
Even those gliders act similar. Even though they are different, like the Umbritos, we're different, but we're still very similar.
But you can even go to different groups. Like seriously, like even if you go to Greece, the difference between Athens and Sparta was huge in the culture. Like the Spartans were
Well, same thing with Mexico. Again,
right?
We still behave very similarly though.
Right, but all the cultures in Mexico behave differently. Like what I'm saying is, you can't pin it down to one thing. It's not DNA that makes the culture, or else all the culture would be exactly the same. And like I said, most of the advancements.
No, but you didn't listen to what I said. You're not listening. You're not listening to what I said.
Well, what did you say?
Well, look, Mexicans behave differently than Venezuelans. With that said, we also behave very similarly. The gliders, the Irishmen might act differently than the Italian, but they do act very similarly as well.
Like in what? Like okay, so So like, but that's what I mean. Like, if you pick out any point in time when you go to Europe, like, what were the similarities between Greece and Scottish in the Highlands?
There was no similarities.
That's what I mean. What were the similarities between those two groups of people? The Scottish were considered barbarians until they acclimated to English culture. And then they started creating the universities and stuff.
I agree, because if you take Mexican people and Ecuadorians, Mexicans actually work harder than Ecuadorians. But one thing about Ecuadorian, it's in the culture, because in Ecuadorian culture they push their kids into more higher education, where Mexicans, they push their kids into more working. So it could be like landscaping or things of that nature. But the Ecuadorians, they push their kids to higher education. So when you see a lot of Ecuadorians, you see them, they're like a little bit more educated. So in fact, the entire South America is kind of like that. As you get into Central and Mexico, not really so much. So it's in the culture. You see what I'm saying? It's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
I think what you hold on. Let me stop you.
Go
Let me
ahead.
stop you.
Go ahead.
I think what y'all are seeing is a difference in countries. Countries are a new phenomenon. But those people down there from the Eskimos down to the Andes Mountains, the Incas, they all share a similar bloodline, and there's differences throughout the regions, but they all can be grouped into the same group, just as somebody from Sudan is very is similar to somebody from Nigeria. But if you look at them, they're very different, but they're in the same group.
Right.
You guys are talking about lines that were drawn on these continents by colonists. So the colonists just drew arbitrary lines, and they didn't have no discretion for the tribes. Like in West Africa, a lot of tribes are in multiple countries. Their territory overlaps into multiple countries. So like that, if it was done by them, it would be like take the Igbos. It would be Igbo land and Yoruba land instead of Nigeria. But all those people are bunched into one country because the Britain ruled that territory. So you can't really judge people by that, by countries now, because like a Mexican, what is a Mexican? A Mexican that's a line that was drawn by the conquistadors in the Americans and shit.
No,
all right, we got it from here, and then y'all got it from there.
I get what you're saying, but when you go to Europe, you're going back in the day. Like for instance, the British would have never had the ability to colonize everybody if Rome didn't colonize them first and teach them shit. London was not made by the British. London was made by Rome.
That's true.
The Romans taught them stuff, and yes, when they expelled the Romans, they went backwards, but they learned from that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
You're talking about two different people, though. The Celtics and the Druids that were there when Rome, like Boudica and all those people, that's a different group of people than the Anglo-Saxons that migrated to that island from Germany. So Rome encountered a different group of people when they came to
right, but that
England
group of people, there's still descendants from them, and they're still white.
Those people were wiped out. The Celtics and the Druids were wiped out.
By Rome. They weren't wiped out by Rome.
No, they were wiped out by the Anglos and the Saxons.
Right, but like I said, the Irish were still there. Like I said, all of this stuff.
Listen, we'll have that discussion at another time. We got a lot of people in here. Make sure you hit the PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. Make sure you support the channel, man. I had a rough night, man. Daddy duty, man, called me, man. Yeah, my wife mad at me. My daughter won't go to sleep. It's rough out here in these streets, man. But
yo, take a number, Chief.
I'm telling you, man. I already know, man. Everybody going through some shit, man. But it is interesting that New York had 400 murders last year. And the sky is falling. We acting like the sky is falling because well, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, 20. So look at how low with stop and frisk, because they started the stop and frisk in the broken windows police in the mid 90s, and immediately it goes from if you look at 94, and this is the murder line right here. If you look at 94, when I think that's the year Dinkins goes out. And
Giuliani was in 1993.
Yeah,
Okay. What's up, Gladiman? Gladiman's back, man. Salute to Gladiman,
Well,
man.
so you talking about my hometown here,
Yeah,
man.
go ahead. The floor is yours, man. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Well, okay. First of all, I think you're. I was thinking it to myself, and this is going way back. Okay, so you know the movie Scarface, right? So the original movie was from the 1930s, right? And Scarface was James Cagney, he's a little 5'4" white guy. All right, and then the new movie, right, was basically a Cuban guy, right? You know, and to me, crime is kind of like the NBA. You know, like back in the 50s, you used to see like the center was like some 5'7" white guy, right? Like on the Knicks or something like that. You know, and it's kind of moves through different ethnic groups. So when you look back and you see some of these years where there's like, you know, 1500, like 1970, 71, how many of those were mafia killings?
Well, here's the thing, man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We do know how many of those were mafia killings because the mafia is one group that, you know, they kill each other. So we know that there weren't 1,000 mafia members killing each other in New York City in one year. The mafia hits were relatively small.
There could have been hundreds.
No. Not mafia members aren't going to kill 100 of each other in a year in one city. Those hits have to be sanctioned. Those hits have to you can't just, you can whack people, but they really like you to ask for permission before you whack another member.
Well, although things would happen, like I think it was John Gotti, somebody like was backing up and ran over his grandkid or something like that. And
that guy got killed like 3 years later.
That guy was a civilian. That guy was a civilian, you know.
What I'm saying is, if you look at the population in New York, let's take 1965, the only year the last year they have records for, and this is another thing that the Sunman benefits from. They didn't keep murder statistics until the early 60s. So they don't have statistics for back in, you know, Reconstruction and during the Great Depression and whatnot. But look, so New York population is 18 million in 1965.
That would be the metropolitan area.
No, this is the five boroughs.
New York City is like 8 million. So this whatever this population is, this
is New York City. This is New York City crime stats. This is New York. Okay. It says let me see where it says that.
That has to be well beyond the 5 boroughs, for sure.
Okay, but most of the stuff happens in the 5 boroughs.
Yes. And then outside of the 5 boroughs.
I would doubt if they have any stats for like the crime stats wouldn't be for. I'm just talking about the population number. I'm not the rest of it's probably just within the 5 boroughs.
But I from what let me just say this. My opinion is that the mafia accounted for a very small amount of the murders in New York City throughout the years. They get a lot of praise and movies are made about them, and they have a lot of nostalgia and prestige because of the way they operate and the power that they wield. But they kill each other, and they will kill people that step out of line that they're extorting and people that get in their way. But mafia guys are not doing drive-bys in school zones and hitting little kids.
No, they're not spraying. You're right.
Not,
they're not spraying.
They're not shooting up the mall parking lot. They're not getting in arguments. Most of these murders in New York City are arguments. These were black people killing people back in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 40s, and in the 70s. Those were black people killing each other.
Yep.
No kind of impulse regulation, man. No kind of control over emotions.
But that's amazing when you look at the impact that Giuliani had, though. You go when you see from starting in 93.
It was instant.
Some people need people to crack on the ass.
It was It was instant from the moment he stepped in.
The minute he was in, you're right. Yeah.
Shit went down quick.
Yep, that's what they need. That's what you need. You need people like that, and you need the death penalty.
What Giuliani did, because when Giuliani came, I was still in high school. And when what Giuliani did, basically, he made police go after the little things that a lot of Sunmen used to do, like
open windows, broken windows.
Yeah, pissing in elevators, hanging on hanging on 600 dudes hanging on a corner, just busting bottles in people, throwing bottles on the floor, walking around eating Chinese food and throwing chicken wings on the ground, hanging in the park every day.
Can you put that thing up one more time?
Just refreshment Friday, beating up handicapped people going crazy on Halloween. He shut all that down. There was a fear when Giuliani came. After a while, after a few months,
go back.
The police was on you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go back
Hey, gentlemen,
to like
I gotta go. Thank you so much for bringing me on, man. I appreciate that, man.
See you.
All right, man.
Hey,
much love to all you brothers. Thank you.
Okay, so 67, right? If you go back to like 67, let's see what are the numbers like. Was there a bump in the numbers there? Because I'll tell you what happened in 67. They had this mayor, I think it was Lindsay was in, and they started the police, the civilian police review board. That was the first time that they had civilians, like, some guy gets arrested, now he can make a complaint against a cop, right? And I think that's when you start to see the numbers go up. As soon as that happened, and they go up all the way until Giuliani came in.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's 2,000 murders a year. That's a lot of fucking murders, man. Give me a city. Oh yeah, let me start the show. I gotta start the show, man. Got some things that I want to show y'all.
Breaking news in just the last hour, a bill to create the city of Buckhead has failed on the floor of the Georgia Senate. The controversial proposal would have carved the Buckhead neighborhood out of the city of Atlanta. Fox 5 political reporter Claire Sims joins us live from the state capitol. Claire, this was a long time coming.
Courtney, the debate on the Senate floor lasted about 2 hours this afternoon, but the debate in the community has been going on for about 2 years as some in Buckhead have pushed to become their own city.
On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 23 and the nays are 33. And this bill has not received the requisite constitutional majority and therefore has failed.
Late this afternoon, the legislative effort to create Buckhead City officially came to an end as the state Senate voted down one of the bills. A group of senators drafted two separate pieces of legislation, one of them to incorporate Buckhead and the other to provide for the transition of services and city properties. Supporters of the cityhood effort say the city of Atlanta has failed to address the concerns of residents in Buckhead, specifically crime, and that lawmakers should allow people in that community to vote. But opponents, including some Republicans, say separating Buckhead from Atlanta would cause irreparable harm.
All they want is an opportunity to vote. That's all they're asking for. And anytime someone asks for something so small and the response they get is a hurricane of propaganda, misdirection.
So this neighborhood Buckhead is the wealthy enclave in Atlanta, and since 2020, some men have been going out there and like terrorizing it. I mean, absolutely terrorizing it. So they tried to become their own city so they could create a police force and police their area the way they feel it needed to be, and not the way Atlanta City wanted to do, because Atlanta City, they had that black woman mayor, Keisha Bottoms, and they're all wokety woke. They want to be able to fight crime the way they want to by just becoming their own city, and the state voted against that, so they're stuck being a part of Atlanta. And I've been following that story for a while. Buckhead, I used to do a lot of videos about it in like 2021. So sad, man. This is really sad, man. I feel bad for those people, because now the Sunban's gonna keep terrorizing them, and they won't be able to, crack down on it. It'll just be like some wokey woke shit, rinse and repeat. Sunman get caught, get back out, light sentences and things like that. And this is the wealthy area, so they're targeted, and they're being like completely terrorized.
Untruths in politics and law enforcement, we call that a clue. Apparently, they have struck the nerve somewhere.
I know that everybody in here has a big heart. You wouldn't be in the position that you're in. But if we jerk that heart out, we're all going to die. If we jerk the heart out of Atlanta, which is Buckhead, said the city of Atlanta will die. I don't want to see our capital city die, but at the same token, I know we've got to fix it.
Sure.
Basically, he said we need our tax base, because all the tax dollars that fund the little programs for the Sun Teens and the Sun Mamas, all those dollars come from Buckhead, because those are the people that work and have businesses and are thriving to pay taxes. So if they leave, then the city will die. Salute to Society of Benevolence, man. Rock Nation Hall of Famer, man. Salute to you. Go ahead. Okay, well,
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, or they'll just move, or you're just gonna have essentially a white flight, or whoever's in there. It's not just white people anymore, but they'll just leave. What people don't understand is when they have the whole white flight scenario, there's a lot of wealth that's lost from these people that leave. Like, their homes drop in value, and they still got to sell them, and it sucks, but they'll go, and then Atlanta's going to be screwed, and they're probably going to have an emergency manager come in, like Chicago. What was it, Chicago or Illinois? The whole state, I can't even remember. And emergency
Jackson,
manager.
that's Jackson.
Yeah,
Jackson, Mississippi's doing that. He's taking the power from the Sun people. But yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you can't win with the Sun people. If white people stay, then you gentrifying. If y'all leave, it's white flight.
Right.
So basically,
you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't, right?
The Sun Man wants gliders to suffer, pretty much.
So isn't that the neighborhood that they refused to put the subway in?
Yeah, they don't want some people to be able to come out there easily. They want some people, but I've done so many stories on this, so many stories about Buckhead, man. I don't really want to get into it, because I started kind of late and I got other things I want to get to. But the Sunman's terrorizing them, as we know what terrorism for some people looks like. It's bad. So let me move along, man.
Well, tonight, police in DeKalb County are investigating a drive-by shooting that left one person injured. The shooting happened last Saturday on Daniel Street. That's in the East Lake community. Fox 5's Joy Dukes talked with neighbors there who say they're simply frustrated with the ongoing crime in the area.
You may remember we told you about dozens of burglaries in this neighborhood over the span of a few months. Now neighbors tell me their latest concern is a drive-by shooting that sent a resident to the hospital just last weekend. In Decatur's East Lake community, neighbors say a quiet Saturday night was interrupted by the sound of gunfire and then a car speeding off.
I was actually getting ready to go to bed when it happened, and literally as soon as I laid down, I heard the automatic rifle go off.
According to DeKalb County Police, someone in a passing vehicle fired several shots just before midnight, March 2nd, hitting a 23-year-old woman who was inside a home on Daniel Avenue. Medics rushed the woman to the hospital for treatment.
That's the most disturbing thing to me.
Resident Trevor Durham Henderson says it's the latest incident of crime in the neighborhood that's had nearly 60.
Now look at this. Look Look at this neighborhood, man. These people are being terrorized. Salute to William Oddcast, man. Many thanks. Enlightening talk gave me a lot to ponder. Oh yeah, salute to you, William Oddcast, man. Love seeing new names, man. Appreciate you, man. TCT, man. I've been seeing that name a lot more lately. Salute to you, TCT. Thanks for another night on the porch, man. No doubt, man. No doubt, TCT, man. Oh yeah, that's the dude in the army, I think. But yeah, um, salute to you, bro. Thank you for your service, man. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about Buckhead. So you see how they terrorize neighborhoods? It's like they're terrorizing every. Some men are terrorists.
Medics rushed the woman to the hospital for treatment.
That's the most disturbing thing to me.
Resident Trevor Durham Henderson says it's the latest incident of crime in the neighborhood that's had nearly 60 break-ins reported in recent months.
I think that the more things like this go unanswered, the worse it's going to get over time.
Jason Prance tells Fox 5 he's been the victim of one burglary and a second burglary attempt since moving into the community 4 years ago. But this latest shooting brought on heightened safety concerns.
More of a shock reaction. We haven't had drive-by shootings, especially somebody getting.
Are you seeing the type of people that live in this neighborhood? These are good people. These are the same type of people the guy was talking about. Oh, you say that there and also in the bed. These are good people that live in this neighborhood. Regular, hardworking people. These aren't thugs and baby mamas and fucking George Floyds. These are fucking people. These are fucking good people that live in this day. They're being terrorized.
Yep.
Look at this guy. You think this guy's a fucking thug?
The more things like this go unanswered, the worse it's going to get over time.
Jason Prance tells Fox 5 he's been the victim of one burglary and a second burglary attempt since moving into the community 4 years ago. But this latest shooting brought on heightened safety concerns.
More of a shock reaction. We haven't had drive-by shootings, especially somebody getting injured like that.
So far, no arrests have been made in the burglary incidents. While neighbors have started a community crime watch group, both men say they want to see these cases solved.
Hopefully just in stronger investigation, and
they've started a crime watch group. Now they're on, think about it. By starting a crime watch group, now they're in the crosshairs. Because if they have a patrolman or they have a night watchman, he's inevitably going to come in contact with some Sun-Teens.
Ahmaud Arbery all over again.
George Zimmerman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
A race card will be introduced.
So they're in more jeopardy than the Sun-Teen is. By actually trying to do this woman, you think a Sun-Teen won't come up and knock the shit out of her for fun? Just punch her in the fucking back of her head as hard as you can for fun?
This shooting brought on heightened safety concerns.
More of a shock reaction. We haven't had drive-by shootings, especially somebody getting injured like that.
So far, no arrests have been made in the burglary incidents. While neighbors have started a community crime watch group, both men say they want to see these cases solved.
Hopefully just in stronger investigation, and what's been going on.
And more of a police presence in the area.
I don't very often see my local police officers going up and down my road. I find that concerning.
They plan to voice those concerns at the Majors Night Out event DeKalb PD's South Precinct is hosting at Barker Bryant Memorial Park later this month. They're encouraging other residents to also attend. DeKalb County Police say the investigation into the shooting is ongoing. If you have any information, give detectives a call. That's the latest.
I mean, just think about that, man. These people are just fucking regular people. And they're just like, they're stunned. They don't even know what to say. They don't even know that they can say something declarative about it. They don't even know that they can say, man, fuck this shit, man. I'm tired of this shit, man. Get these niggas the fuck out. They're just like, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they are the ones that are the pressure's being put on. It's all on them. Everything is on them. It's so unfair, man.
It's crazy.
Well, man.
Right now, though, security concerns all week at Elmwood Park High School in River Grove. The week started with a student arrested after bringing a gun to school. Then today, classes were remote following an unfounded threat.
CBS 2's Tara Molina is live at the school. And Tara, you talked to the head of security there who claims there's much more to this story.
Exactly. He's claiming the entire thing was handled improperly and everyone at the school was put in an unsafe position. Of course, the superintendent says otherwise. This is where it all started late Monday morning, Elmwood Park High School, where River Grove police say they were called after a 17-year-old left school property with a handgun in a bag. They found him with the gun about a block from the school and arrested and charged him Monday. But now,
the whole school was put at risk. Everybody there was put at risk.
questions are being raised about administrators' handling of the incident while the student was inside. The high school's head of security, currently on administrative leave for what the district superintendent called unauthorized interference with the ongoing law enforcement investigation and more, is speaking out about his concerns, having responded to the incident. But he's not showing his face or using his name.
Anytime there's a weapon in the building, we have to follow procedures.
He claims school officials never put the school on lockdown or alerted police after hearing claims of a student with a gun.
Well, my main concerns is that the protocol wasn't established here. We did not go into a full lockdown.
But the district superintendent told me in a statement, quote, both the Elmwood Park and River Grove Police Department affirmed the actions taken on Monday mitigated the threat within the school. River Grove's police chief also wouldn't address concerns about no lockdown. Quote, I am not commenting on school policy or procedure.
We need to look at this as a learning situation where we can move ahead and make it safer for the kids at Elmwood Park High School and the teachers, the whole staff.
Teachers here released a statement late this afternoon, and they said that they're calling for full transparency from everyone here in the district moving forward. You can read that statement in.
It's almost impossible to police a son's school, man.
They want full transparency, but this guy is on administrative leave.
Yeah, he's being punished because because you know what, they like to keep the numbers down. They in cities they like to hide, especially suspensions and assaults, because Obama knows child left behind. You have to have as many white kids suspended as black kids. The rate has to be the same. So it's like if you got fucking black kids in the school and they're doing what they do every day, and you suspend 100 black kids and 2 white kids at the end of the fucking semester, you're getting in fucking big trouble, Jack. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about big trouble because it's supposed to be even.
And they said that they're calling for full transparency from everyone here in the district moving forward. You can read that statement in full and exactly what the superintendent told us today. Both of those are in this story on our website right now. Reporting live in River Grove, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News.
Tara, thank you.
Arthur Brown maintained his innocence to the end, yet he never acknowledged nor even looked at the 6 family members of the victims who witnessed his execution.
Yes, it's a night that it's not to be happy. And yet we're still sad because our loved ones aren't ever going to come back.
Rachel Tovar survived a massacre that led to the deaths of 4 people in 1992. 6 people were bound with bed sheets and shot in the back of the head. Tovar and a family friend survived. Her husband, Jose, her son, Frank Farias, her 7-month pregnant daughter-in-law, Jessica Quinones, and a family friend, Audrey Brown, were killed. Rachel Tovar identified Arthur Brown as one of...
That some man went in there, was on Brito's house, tied 6 people up with bed sheets and shot them all in the back of the head, and still was only 4 for 6. He still was 4 for 6. He couldn't do, like, God damn, man. Even in that case,
close frame.
Jesus Christ. He's still shooting 66% from the field, man. God damn. Something ain't right, man. It just ain't right, man. Wow. But yeah. And this happened in 92, and he's just getting executed the other day. This is what I think Fabian was talking about this. And me and Fabian were both talking about this. Glider society. You fed and clothed. This guy got 3 meals. It's illegal not to give him 3 meals every day. It's illegal to not give him heat in the winter and fucking air conditioning. It's illegal not to let him take a shower, 1 shower a day. It's illegal to not let him get rec time and exercise every day. It's illegal not to let him have books and correspond with family members and watch TV. It's illegal to not let him have commissary, eat fucking goodies and sweet things and things that taste good and savory. For 31 years after he tied 6 people up and shot them in the back of the heads, some people he would have been dead the next day. In our land, in a land we created, gliders, your society. I get it. You guys are very smart and you have very high IQs. You build, but you do too much. There's no reason for this guy to have lived and been fed and clothed and housed and sheltered for 31 years after he fucking tied 6 people up with bed sheets and fucking put bullets in the back of their brains. What do you guys think about that?
I think as when you're not American and you're either Hispanic or you come from another land, you got to be very careful when you're moving into some of these states where they do not have a lot of foreigners, like anywhere outside of like Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Massachusetts, Boston and places like that. You don't want to live anywhere in like Huntsville, Alabama. That's too much. But this is crazy. 31 years. This guy spent 31 years before they finally execute this guy. It's crazy.
But think about it. He going to jail is not a bad thing for this guy. This guy was going to jail. Go ahead, Crook County.
What's up, everybody? So anyway, what I think about it is America, right? America's way too welcoming to outsiders and immigrants and all that other stuff, and it's just crazy because a good example is the people riding through Mexico, right? The ones that the whatever the hell they was doing, it don't matter, but they thought that they were comfortable enough to drive through Mexico, and everybody in the comments on that was like, "Bro, you should have known better than to drive through Mexico, man. What the hell are you doing?" But it's just like in America, you can drive through the roughest hood. You can come here. We'll feed you. We'll clothe you. We'll house you. We'll do everything for you. But it's not the same experience anywhere else, pretty much,
Nah, 31 years. He would have been dead. This guy wouldn't have, the way he was living his life, career criminal, he would have either been in jail for another murder or he would have been dead within the next
I mean,
5 years.
if we were in charge, he wouldn't have made it to the next day. You say he would have been dead the next day. If we was in charge, it would have been like, all right, we about to fucking use some tactics on this motherfucker tonight. Like he did it. It's over with. Like
right, like there's no doubt he did this shit.
yeah, it's no doubt. And we would have fucking had that man hanging with tarred and feathered, and we would have had waterboarding. It would have been like we would have probably did so much shit that we wouldn't have been able to finish out our tactics, and he would have died before we was done.
Before we wanted him to die.
Yeah, it would have been like fuck.
But gliders kept this guy, glider society. And then they brag as if they've done something. Like, yeah, he's been executed. Well,
nah, but you know how they do this shit on death row. Like, they appeal it like 30 times, bro.
That's part of their system.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had that system. Low key, I think like if we were in charge, our shit would probably resemble in like modern society. It would probably resemble that Russia shit, bro.
Yeah, this guy. I mean, this is just.
Russia, when Russia like say you guilty, you at like a 99% conviction rate, and you get like the maximum like 90% of the time. That would have been us. We're harsh. We are harsh.
Look at this family member right here. She wasn't alive when this happened. She doesn't.
You talking about in the back?
Yeah, she doesn't look 31 to me.
No. She probably like that's a Brita.
Yeah.
She is 23.
And this woman might have died before this guy got executed. Think about it like this. You get to live 31 years after you do this. And then gliders poke their chest up and brag, we executed a killer today.
Hey, but look, check this out. Check this out. On death row, though, on death row, you're not living a good life in jail like
You're
everybody else.
alive. The people you killed were died bound and
But
gagged
you,
with a bullet in the back of their head.
but in all actuality, I mean, like to give them a little bit on death row, you are locked up 20 fucking 3 to 24 hours,
And
and
I
you
would
are
be
in
in
the
my
hall.
cell, and I would be in my cell jacking off the fucking dirty pictures and shit, and fucking doing Sudokus and fucking playing fucking doing fucking personal chess, playing fucking crossword puzzles, reading great books, reading magazines, writing letters to family. You can find plenty of pleasure just being alive, period. Didn't you know what I'm saying?
What's that? That dude from Philly that executed the officer, the rookie cop. He been on
Yeah.
death row and he been like getting like fucking master's degrees and fucking
Yeah.
everybody fighting for him and all this other shit. And he got a radio show. That now that's fucking crazy.
Dude, listen, if you're alive, you can make something out of people. People, this guy was going to jail anyway. The way he was living his life, he was going to jail anyway. There's no reason to keep him alive for fucking 31 more years.
Rachel Tovar
Yeah, we gotta put a timetable on death row shit.
Yeah, man.
Rachel Tovar survived a massacre that led to the deaths of 4 people in 1992. 6 people were bound with bed sheets and shot in the back of the head. Tovar and a family friend survived. Her husband, Jose, her son, Frank Farias, her 7-month pregnant daughter-in-law, Jessica Quinones, and a family friend, Audrey Brown, were killed. Rachel Tovar identified Arthur Brown as one of 3 men who attacked her family. Police said this was a drug-related robbery, and Tovar said she knew Brown because he had bought drugs from her and her husband multiple times. However, Brown has always maintained his innocence, even during his final statement, saying, "What is occurring here tonight is not justice. It is the murder of an innocent man for a murder that occurred in 1992." Tovar stood firm that Brown is one of the men who attacked her family. The family of Jessica Quinones also witnessed the execution and sent KPRC2 a statement reading in part, "Our family is at peace knowing that every doubt has been addressed and every decision has been righteous. We pray that the family of Arthur Brown Jr. will find this peace as well, and that the faith of all people in our justice system will be reaffirmed." Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg was not in office when Brown was prosecuted, but also witnessed the execution and added that Brown's claims of innocence were examined through multiple appeals.
He has been the beneficiary of a judicial system that bent over backwards at the local, state, and federal level.
You hear
That's what
that?
we just. That's exactly what I just said.
It bends over
Backwards.
backwards.
Yeah. Hey. So, how you feel about the? You know what I'm saying? He did a heinous crime, right? So the most heinous part was he killed the 7-month pregnant. She was 7 months pregnant, right? But the family that he did that shit was like drug dealers. You know, how you feel about that?
I used to be a drug dealer as far as selling weed, and people. I've had my spot broken into 6 times, and where people took all my shit, kicked my door in, and took all my shit while I wasn't there. I've been robbed at gunpoint twice. I've been I've had all types of experience. I had homies sneak steal shit from me and shit. I've been through all that stuff. I know guys that have been tied up and and killed, and their girlfriends hiding in the closet, and then the son man, as they're leaving, they hear her crying in the closet, and they go and execute her. I've seen all of that stuff, man. Listen, these are people. Just because you're selling weed or selling some fucking coke doesn't make you a person, in my estimation, that you deserve to die. Or you. Now listen, if he would have went and if he would have had a problem with that lady or her husband and just shot them, that's fine. Because shit happens in these games, drug games. You know what you're getting into. To tie the whole family up and put bullets in the back of their heads. I mean, that's just evil,
No,
man.
I got it. I agree with that. It's definitely fucking heinous or whatever it is, and it's a life sentence for sure. But like,
he would die. Listen, that guy in a village in Africa, off the grid, like a village, not even off the grid, a village in Africa, they would have caught him and he would have been dead within an hour with a fucking tire around his neck filled with gasoline. And they would have made him, they would have given him a lighter and made him light it. That's what they do over there. They make you light the tire.
No, I agree.
So it's like, imagine what they do to you and for you to light the fire. So like, use your imagination.
Multiple appeals.
He has been the beneficiary of a judicial system that bent over backwards at the local, state, and federal level, all the way to the United States Supreme Court.
Marion Dudley was also convicted of these murders. He was executed in 2006. A third man, Antonia Dunson, was sentenced to life in prison, but because...
So another guy was executed in 2006, so that's good. So he was only alive for 14 years. And then another guy got a life sentence. Okay. So that's good. I mean, at least they did execute one of the guys in 2006. He only got to live the life of 14 years.
But if those people were white, the Innocence Project would have been all over that shit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Say shot a man
all
in cold
over
blood
that
has
shit.
his day in court.
You gotta listen. The criminal justice system, I'm glad that white lady said it. It bends over backwards for some men.
Say shot a man in cold blood has his day in court. Jordan Traynor faced a judge and his victim's family this afternoon. And as Lauren Adams reports, the man's loved ones say prison sentence is not long enough.
What happened behind these doors took only 10 minutes, and while the victim's family says they wish the teenage killer would have gotten a bigger sentence, they're relieved he will stay behind bars. It was June 2021 when David Feltz got a call from his cousin that changed everything. His father, Ricky, in Louisville doing a job with the local sheet metals union.
Jesus, he killed a white guy. I don't watch these videos before I come on here. Jesus Christ. You gotta be taking fucking yeah.
His father, Ricky, in Louisville doing a job with the local sheet metals union he was a part of, had been shot and killed.
I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. It was just all seemed like a dream.
Then, even more shock when a 14-year-old boy was arrested. Jordan Traynor, charged as an adult, received a 12-year sentence Thursday as part of a plea deal.
Wow.
Well, you gotta look at the context clues though. Go ahead.
12 years.
He'll be out in 4 years.
Look at his little funny shit, guys. But look at that. See. This is she views him as her son. Hey, you gotta mute yourself when you're making a lot of noise in the background, man. Whoever that is. Q on the conundrum. You gotta mute yourself, man. When you're not talking, you're making a lot of noise, conundrum.
What about now? Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good, but mute yourself when you're not talking, please.
Okay, gotcha. All
right. She sees him as her son. She sees him as a victim, as he only did this because there weren't enough opportunity, the legacy of slavery. The white man put all this stuff, obstacles in his way. So, and then he also killed a white man who she. And we talk about this other, we don't see y'all as human in general. Now, I see y'all as human, but I'm saying in general, Black people don't see you guys as human. So it's like all that, and then she's super woke, super liberal. All that goes into it, man. These sister judges are very, very dangerous, man. And it's not because of who they are, it's because of how they are.
More shock when a 14-year-old boy was arrested. Jordan Traynor, charged as an adult, received a 12-year sentence Thursday as part of a plea deal. David Feltz drove 3.5 hours from Western Kentucky. It's where he and his father both lived, to see him face to face.
Poor decision on your part has wrecked tons of lives. On your side.
Jesus Christ. Just go. Just keep some dignity, Glide.
And he's trying to lecture him. You don't give a fuck.
Yeah, Glider, keep some dignity. Let me tell you, Glider, something. This does not have the effect you're thinking. Like, I know he doesn't think that it's going to change anything, but what he's trying to do is put some guilt in the son man's mind to make the son man.
He's trying to do some shame. He's trying to put some shame in him. Shame don't exist anymore.
This guy right here is trying to not laugh. I promise you, I guarantee you, I would bet $1,000 that right now he's trying to not laugh. He's clenching his teeth, trying not to laugh. I bet you.
On your part has wrecked tons of lives on your side and mine. For what? Something stupid? For no reason at all?
Police, in fact, say the attack was unprovoked. Ricky Felton.
Unprovoked. How many unprovoked attacks have I done today on the show so far? I mean, literally, unprovoked. He just tacked them for no reason.
But you know, what I find, and this is the criminal justice system in a nutshell. We're trying to be fair to a group of people who don't want to be fair to other people, and that is exactly what it is. You know, you have people that commit these. Now, be mindful. I don't know if you remember me, but I was a person. I told you I quit practicing law a while ago. And to piggyback off what you mentioned about someone sitting in jail for 31 years, I finished from Coppin State University with my undergrad in the fall of '94. Of that same year, Lynn Davis killed somebody. He was a police officer, and he's still on death row. He's been on death row since '97.
It's ridiculous, man. I mean, it's a disrespectful that you keep the guy alive who would probably be dead. If you leave some of these criminals, if you left them on the street, they would be dead in a few years. Just the risky behavior they they partake in, or locked up for another murder. But this whole keeping them alive, like you're literally fattening the pig for the slaughter. Instead of but in those days they didn't fatten the pig for 31 fucking years before they fucking ate it.
Well, what we have, and this is where we screwed up as a society. We started creating levels and degrees of crimes. When everyone got the same punishment, when the person that stole an apple pie out of somebody's window got the same punishment as someone who shot somebody, crime was different. But it wasn't until we started getting these officials who said, well, hey, no one actually saw him. Well, look, let's create a degree of it. A lie is a lie, and a crime is a crime. Once you start looking at it from that perspective, it will start changing minds.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, you blaming everybody. This is gliders doing this shit.
Right.
This is gliders doing this shit.
I agree.
Listen, let me tell you something. If Columbus had never fucking discovered America, this woman would be running around in a loincloth with titties hanging down to her knees and a bone through her nose. Talking about ooga booga.
And you know something. The first thing people want to mention about black people is that we're being subjected to this white system. I don't think people want to suffer the consequences of pre-colonial Africa.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I've just gotten to the point when I'm talking to those people, I'm like, as opposed to what system? Like, what the hell system do you want to live under? Like, they're always like, oh, yeah, America and its capitalism and its blah, blah. I'm like, well, where the hell would you want to live?
Well, sir, if you go over to some of the very strict countries and you see someone without a hand, you know he's been caught stealing.
Well, yeah, that's
right. So until we go to those extremes, as I said before, we try to be fair or considerate to people who are not fair to other people and considerate to other people. Now, irregardless of how gruesome someone's crime is, they want them to be, treated like humans when they treated someone inhumanely.
Yes. Let me move along. Salute to D, man. D, he said, for the mad mama makeup fun. Listen, man, mama's always mad, man. If you had to buy makeup every time mama was mad, man, you have to fucking kidnap the Avon lady, man. This is just life, man. Another day, man. Another day, another dollar, man.
Yeah, not for nothing, but that woman, like, she looks okay, but I don't know about you guys, but what I can't stand is when a black woman wears ruby red lipstick. Like
Yeah,
that
I mean,
always looks fucked up to me.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. The darker skin ones, I like when they wear lip gloss. I just like when
right.
they wear the
Yeah,
natural lip color.
their lips are fine.
Yeah,
They don't want to
yeah,
draw
yeah. You
like
know, I don't even like red lipstick on light skinned chicks. I like pink lipstick on light skinned chicks, and I like regular lip gloss on dark skinned chicks. But that's neither near here nor there. Let me.
For no reason at all.
Police, in fact, say the attack was unprovoked. Ricky Feltz, a husband, father, grandfather, even a great grandfather, had been outside a friend's home on Southside Court smoking a cigarette when Jordan Trainer walked up and began shooting.
Just outside smoking a cigarette. Let me step. Hey, can I smoke this in here? Nah, man, you gotta step outside. All right.
my problem with like with his situation and minors in general. It's like, and you're gonna let him out? Like, what the fuck's gonna change in 12 years? He's just gonna go out and kill somebody else.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This guy right here, it's like there's really nothing you can do, right? Like all you can do is your glider is hope that like 90% of the time he kills another Sunman. That's all you can hope for, man. Um I mean, like, look, this type of behavior, there's really nothing that the system wasn't made for that. There's hundreds of him in every city. In Louisville, where this happened, there's hundreds of this guy walking around. Now, do they kill someone every single day? No, it's not 100 murders every day. But they're walking around and they're just out there. This is not like something that he's not like a rare breed. He's a normal kid in Blakistan. Now, are all the kids like this? No. They're athletes, they're kids that are nerds, but they're normal kids too. He's a normal kid in Blakistan.
1 month away from his 16th birthday, the judge told him this.
Now is not forever, sir. You don't have to stay stuck. I cannot impress upon you enough, young man. Serve your time honorably. Make it count.
But it's time the family of Ricky Feltz isn't satisfied with.
I believe there were some extenuating circumstances that they weren't sure that he would serve any time if he went to trial. So I like to think that the prosecutors got as much as they could. I'd rather him serve 12 than 0.
When Jordan Trainer...
Wow. So they're saying that he might not have done no time if they took him to trial. But yeah, you got to take the 12, man. Take the 12, man. Live with it. Salute to Eric S., man, coming through every night, man. Salute to you, man.
Turns 18 in March of 2025. He'll phase out of the juvenile justice system and then serve his time in prison. Reporting downtown tonight, I'm Lauren Adams, WLKY News.
But leading us off this hour, the family of an A-Leaf ISD teacher allegedly shot and killed by a man she met online is coping with an unexpected twist in the case.
Hey, yo,
The man charged with killing.
But
hey, at least the Kentucky law is better than that DC law. Shit, with the juveniles.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, or Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore and DC. I mean, it just
Yeah, they do juvenile life, and that's just you get out at 21, no matter what time you did it.
Yeah, 21. He would be out when he's 21. Yep.
Yeah, but now he getting transferred to the adult facility. You know what I'm saying? So at least that's better than a lot of states.
No, that is much better. That is much better. And I think it's the circumstances of it too. He took the plea deal, and but yeah, in DC they would have definitely just he wouldn't have had to take the plea deal in DC. In DC, if there was a way he could have got off, he wouldn't have took the plea deal. He'd have just got off.
But leading us off this hour, the family of an A-Leaf ISD teacher allegedly shot and killed by a man she met online is coping with an unexpected twist in the case.
Yeah, police say the man charged with killing 29-year-old Wendy Dewan took his own life in a Louisiana jail.
Oh wow! You remember this story? They were dating, and he came over to meet her friends, and while he was over there, like all her girlfriends was there. She wanted her girlfriends to meet him. And while they were there, they got into an argument, and he blew her brains out in front of all of them. You don't remember that?
Yeah, I remember the story.
So this guy, man, damn, well, he killed himself. So yeah, that's good, man. Salute, man. I mean, he's dead, but I know they wish they wanted him to be punished, but These guys, they live so well in jail, man. You just want them dead, man.
Police say Jarvis Thompson shot and killed Dewan at her home in Sugarland back in January. He was later arrested in Shreveport, Louisiana. Dewan's mother spoke with our Brittany Ford today. Brittany, obviously a mix of emotions for this family.
Well, indefinitely, and Thompson was actually in the process of being extradited back to Fort Bend County, something Dwan's family tells me they were looking forward to face her alleged killer in court.
Still in disbelief that her only child is gone.
I am crying like a few times a day.
The mother of 29-year-old Wendy Dwan, who's asked us not to reveal her identity, says she's now dealing with another loss, one of justice.
They text to me, they want to see us. And when we went to police station, they told us he hung himself. The case is closed.
Jarvis Thompson has been charged with Dwan's murder after allegedly shooting and killing her in the backyard of her Sugarland home in early January. Investigators say the two had met on an online dating app just a week before. Dwan's mother describing her daughter as
She met this goddamn ape on a goddamn dating app and brought her around her friends. This was this is ladies, let me tell you something, man. Not only did she put herself in danger by meeting this guy and bringing him to her home after meeting him, she had all her friends over there that day, and she was gonna like vet them. You know how I don't know if girls do this, but anymore. But like, girl, I want you to see if girl, I got this guy. I want y'all to see what y'all think about him and bring him over, type shit.
She thought that she was doing the safe route with that though. You know what I'm saying? It was gonna be witnesses.
I don't think she thought for 1 second he was gonna blow her brains out in front of all those people.
Not blow her brains out, but she, you know what I'm saying? I think the main thing that women be thinking more is like a rape,
Yeah. But if you
Yeah.
gotta think that, and listen, I'm not a woman. I don't know what kind of like juices that might get their juices flowing. The danger of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It might be the dealing with a bad boy or risky type thing. It may do something to it may get their juices flowing. Like we like hoes, men. We like hoes. We go to a strip club. We trying to save we get to talking to the stripper. We trying to save the bitch, turn her into a housewife. So everybody's fucking. I don't know what kind of juices these bad boys put in these women body that they can't resist. And you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you just gotta try to, you just can't. It's just unfortunate, man. Just sad, man. Just sad, man.
early January. Investigators say the two had met on an online dating app just a week before. Dwan's mother describing her daughter as too trusting.
She showed me the picture. I said, no, the guy, the face look evil. But she did not take my advice.
Police say the shooting happened after some sort of argument.
Hey, she racist, all right?
Mom said she showed her mother a picture. She said he looked evil, but the daughter didn't take her advice. Damn, her unconscious bias.
The mom's racist.
Yeah, definitely racist. I mean, what else could explain that? She said that black guy looked evil. That's shit, man. Anything you say about a black guy is that's not flattering. It makes you racist, man. That's now think about her. She has to live with that for the rest of her life, knowing she told her it is. And listen, young people go. I was the same way. I'm sure everybody here was the same way. We didn't listen to our parents. If I'd listened to my parents, I'd be fucking a billionaire right now. I mean, but it's just golly, man, this is so sad. This story gets sadder and sadder, man.
I think it's a good story. You say he killed himself, right?
Yeah, that part. But this part,
So a happy ending.
That shit. They wanted to see that motherfucker in there crying and shit.
It wasn't what happened though. That wasn't what happened.
Yeah, I know, but they like she blazing, bro. They don't know.
Yeah. I think these people are just Asian. I don't think these people are blazing. I think they're just Asian. I think she's just Asian.
Right, I think so too.
Look at that face,
South
man.
thing.
That round face.
She look like she got some type of color in her though.
Well, those people down there
Some Asians
do.
got color. Some Asians got color.
You know those
Yeah,
Thai and Malaysia. You know those people. Those people
Cambodians,
yeah,
look
they
like
get darker like down there.
she don't look like she's not fucking Chinese or Japanese.
Filipinos.
Yeah, she look like a
Yeah,
regular Filipino or
All
regular
right, yeah,
Thai.
yeah. You right. You got me.
She yeah
But
wow,
but I think this was one of the best outcomes. Him killing
yeah.
himself is like one of the better outcomes.
It's just sad, man. What a sad story, man.
Look evil, but she did not take my advice.
Police say the shooting happened after some sort of argument. Thompson, who had fled to Louisiana, was later located at a home in Shreveport where he was taken into custody.
Her life is gone. No matter he's died, but cannot replace.
Dwan was a beloved A-Leaf ISD teacher who taught third grade at Boone Elementary. Her mother says Wendy was a giver.
Think about those kids. Those kids at their school, beloved teacher. You never know that your beloved third grade teacher is like surfing the net for thug dick.
Bro,
You know what I'm
why is the
saying?
mother don't want to show her face?
I don't know.
He dead. It's over.
Yeah, maybe she just I don't know. But this is like it's just sad, man. This woman.
Hey, we supposed to blame her for her implicit biases after this shit too, you know?
Right. Yo,
The-
Ike, they probably argued because she told him that she believes in protection and using rubbers. He was like, "What?"
Nah, I bet what happened was they were over there chilling, and she got all her girlfriends over there, and maybe when he walks in, it's not how girls make faces to each other. They don't say nothing. They're not gonna say, "Damn, he ugly," or "Oh, girl." He walked in there probably was like, because her friends ain't hood rats. I would
Bruh,
assume that
they're
her friends,
probably all teachers, bruh.
yes, and they're probably like. And they probably like meet me in the other room, and he's
Yeah, I
like
know, I
he
know.
started feeling uncomfortable, and when the son man starts feeling uncomfortable, he obviously had a gun on him, so he's feeling
He get
uncomfortable.
defensive.
Yeah, and then maybe she was like, look, you're gonna have to settle down, and he was like, what, and like, I mean, because he don't know her like that. He didn't know her like that, like to.
Hold on. It went to the I think you should leave.
Oh
She
yeah.
kicked him out.
And you already know how I think you should leave go.
Yeah, she
Right.
said that. Yeah, that was it right there.
Always showed a special love for her students.
We lose her, so I don't know how long it take me. I miss her forever.
Mm.
So heartbreaking for that
Yeah,
family. Now,
man.
Thompson had a
Smash.
criminal record that spanned back to 2022, where he was arrested on a family violence charge. He also had a charge out of Montgomery County for theft. Brittany Ford, KHON.
That family violence is domestic. He already whooped some ass.
Mm.
Yo, I think it's a shame because he would have made a beautiful single mother out of her.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. She would have made a well. Yep, exactly. I'm telling you, man. I mean, just think about her friends when they heard that shot. When they go out to the back in the backyard to talk, and they hear a gunshot, they're probably, "What the fuck?" A scream, a gunshot, then a scream, then he comes running out. They probably, they probably were like, "This cannot be happening."
Terrified. Terrified.
Like, golly, man. I mean, they probably were like, I can't, no way, that pinching themselves like, I gotta be fucking dreaming. Like, this guy didn't just fucking blow her brains out. Oh God, so Memphis.
We're learning about the teenager killed in a double shooting last week in South Memphis. Family identifies him as Xavier Tankersley, a Melrose High School student. WRAG's Jordan James spoke with his mother about the loss. And Jordan, what is she telling you tonight?
Hey, Shay, as you would imagine, she's heartbroken by the loss of her 17-year-old son. Now she joins a growing list of parents impacted by gun violence here in the Bluff City.
Under the clouds of gray skies is a woman in search of peace.
This is rough. It's rough.
Feelings that are now being felt by Janine Tankersley Jones after her son Xavier was killed last Sunday in a shooting.
It hurts. I don't wish this type of pain on any parent. It's I just don't wish this pain on nobody because it's a piece of me that's gone.
She says a 17-year-old died after a double shooting along Lauderdale Avenue in South Memphis. One other person was wounded.
3380.
7 days after his death, Tankersley Jones returned to the one place that brings her joy, Melrose Football Stadium, where Xavier played sports.
Wherever my son was and wherever he would be, it kind of bring me a little bit of peace, but I'm still hurt.
Investigators with Memphis police have not publicly disclosed a motive or said who's responsible for the shooting, leaving loved ones desperate for answer.
Tell what need to be told, because if it was your child.
Think about the trauma of all these people in the stand, where like the majority of the time, the police just come to you and say, you knock on your door, and it's like, oh my God. And then they tell you what happened. And then it's like, okay, well, we don't know who did it and we don't know why. I mean, like, it's like a storm came through and just swept your loved one away, or a black hole just opened up in the earth and just swallowed them up. That's got to be psychologically fucked up, man. I know you deal. Do you do that, Crookhead? Do you go tell the families that the person is dead?
No, that's detectives.
Detectives, okay. Detectives,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we got detectives, and then we also have a what is it? A advocate unit that does that.
Wow.
You would want somebody to speak up for your child. So whoever did this, just turn yourself in.
A plea from a grieving mother.
This is something that's on hunt me for a long time.
To a fractured community that's all seen better days. And Xavier's death marks the fourth homicide involving a juvenile, according to MPD. Anyone with information is advised to call Crime Stoppers. That number again, 901-528-CASH. Reporting here live tonight downtown. Jordan.
Football player, man. I'm
Hey,
sure.
hey, yo, I got a story when I was a rookie cop too.
Okay, good.
All right, so about that family and all the other stuff. I was like, this was literally probably like my third day on the job or whatever. And we had it was a homicide. It was a bad one. It was like some guys were sitting in the street, whatever it is. Somebody did a drive-by, and one dude was shot in the head. He was like DOA, it was over. Brain matter all on the street, all that shit. That was my first ever homicide. So I don't know no better. I don't know what the fuck going on. I'm putting up whatever tape or whatever, and the lady walked past me and she asked me, I just want to know who it was, because my brother he was over here, and she tell me his name and all this other shit. I know for certain like that's her brother laying dead in the street. You know what I'm saying?
Got a sheet over him.
Oh yeah, he got a sheet over him, and motherfucking we didn't took him to the hospital because the scene was hostile. It was fucked up. But I literally just had like a brain, like I knew it was him, but I just went blank and I just walked the fuck away.
Wow.
And she was probably just left like knowing like, yeah, it's him.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yeah, but that was me as a rookie cop situation.
Wow.
But now I'd just be like, hey, he went to the University of Chicago. He went to this hospital, man. Go on over there.
Yeah. Wow. So
held at gunpoint in Cooper Young by a group of juveniles, the same juveniles who police say had just robbed, carjacked, and fired shots at several other people across the city. Police say
this is terrorism. At some point, this ain't gonna fix it, but this will be a step in the right direction. Calling this terrorism.
Held at gunpoint in Cooper Young by a group of juveniles, the same juveniles who police say had just robbed, carjacked, and fired shots at several other people across the city. Police say they took 4 teenagers into custody.
But what happens next has many people talking. WRG investigator Jessica Gertler explains.
It was about 10:15 on Friday night.
It was a night of fun with a friend new to Memphis.
He drove me to my car.
We agreed not to use.
You gliders be, yo, you gliders be taking L's out here.
On Friday night.
It was a night of fun with a friend new to Memphis.
He drove me to my car.
We agreed not to use this woman's name to protect her identity after what happened February 3rd in a church parking lot in Cooper Young.
I looked down at my phone for a second, and then I heard a tap. And I looked up, and there was an Uzi in his window.
They were surrounded by teenagers.
Really young, just really young.
So young.
I heard at least 1 or 2 voices crack.
She says it didn't stop them, though, from shouting orders, pointing their gun.
They had it in his back at one point, and then in his stomach at another point, just giving instructions like, give me your keys, your wallet.
Police say the teens had committed other crimes that night. They say at least 2 of them approached a man in an East Memphis neighborhood and tried to rob him. He told police he tried to follow the kids until they fired shots. Officers say the same teens also carjacked a woman on Lori Lane, holding a gun to her and her children's space. They're also accused of robbing a woman on Hickory Hill Road. The victim told officers she saw AR rifles hanging out of their stolen getaway car.
When I did get contacted by the police, they told me, you know, you weren't the only one. We found several purses, several phones, several cars. It's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking, because she wants to know why and how these juveniles got to this point.
How do you explain that to somebody? And then also explain it to yourself. I'm trying to defend.
Why does this fucking whore bag care how they got to that point?
Hey, that glider trying to get to the root cause of the problem.
Right.
That glider got integrity, man.
Right. She should hit the link, if she wants to know why.
You guys man, y'all disappoint me every time.
That's a red hair, man. Like, she got the fucking gene, bro.
Yeah, you guys are just disappointing, man. Who gives a fuck what got him to that point?
The founding fathers are rolling.
Who gives a shit? Did you, bitch? Didn't they tell you that the cops told you they got other people, right, bitch? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hey, you'll be surprised, man. These gliders, man, we'll recover a car from like carjacking and all the other shit. We'll have 3 fucking son teens in custody and shit like that. I literally had a glider tell me, I don't want to press charges. I want to talk to him.
I believe it. I believe it now, man.
Hey, and check this out. Guess what I did?
What?
I said, you ain't talking to their ass at all. Either you want to press charges or not. And he's like, no, I don't want to press charges. I want something better for them. I was like, all right, bet. All right, we're going to release them. We're going to give you a car.
Wow.
Right.
Them motherfuckers, they want to talk to him. They think they can save him.
Right. Talk to them on your own time at your own risk.
Nah, I mean, they'll be back. Don't you worry.
You can talk to them, steal your car next time.
They're gonna no. Here's the problem, though. They're gonna steal someone else's car because you didn't press charges. They're gonna steal someone else's car, kill someone else.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit in 2020, when like the carjackings and like the Hyundais and Kia shit was like at a peak, when it was like gliders, that happened probably 6 out of 10 times where the gliders didn't want to press charges.
Oh my god!
And this is like all seriousness shit. Like the motherfuckers, the one dude, he wanted to talk to him, but everybody else would be like, I just tow it. I don't want to press charges. Is it any damage? I'd be like, yeah, it's fucking total. They'd be like, okay.
Oh my god.
No solution, right, Ike?
That part of that's the problem. You gliders, and I'm seeing this the last couple of days more and more. Y'all are a huge part of the problem, man. Like, and it's not like fucking. It doesn't matter like how they identify as far as politically. Like, I mean, golly, you gliders are fucking. This is problematic, man. This is not pressing charges on these guys. Is basically saying putting other people at risk, man. Just sad,
Right.
man.
Stolen getaway car.
When I did get contacted by the police, they told me, you weren't the only one. We found several purses, several phones, several cars. It's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking because she wants to know why and how these juveniles got to this point.
How do you explain that to somebody? And then also explain it to yourself. I'm trying to defend this city and the people that I love. How do I make sense of what's happening?
Especially this next part. Police say they arrested two 14-year-olds, a 16-year-old, and a 17-year-old the next.
Go ahead, Mike King. Who are you, Mike King? I don't.
What's up? What's up, back? It's just Toronto.
You were here the other day, right? Oh, Toronto, yeah. Arif, who are you? Arif?
Going once.
Going twice. All right, Arif. Yeah, man. Mike King, what do you think about this, man? What are your thoughts, man?
I think white people are to blame, bro. They need to take accountability for something too,
Yeah, you can't just keep you can't just not press charges. Not pressing charges is literally putting another person over. You're sending
that should be criminal. That's criminal right there.
you're sending like a fucking it's literally. I mean, God, it's not stopping at a red light or not stopping at a stop sign. You're putting other people in danger, man.
You think they're to blame, Mike? The gliders?
Yes. Did you hear those women in Baltimore talk the other night? Those white women?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear.
Listen,
But however, I know one thing. These motherfuckers I see on the screen are to blame. First and foremost.
Their behavior can't be changed.
The gliders either, evidently, right?
But I mean, you theoretically could train gliders to think a different way because they've done it in the past. These Sun teams' behavior is kind of like fixed,
Inherent.
It's a constant. So it's not. Even if it's not them, it's going to be like even if you send all 4 of these kids to the Ivy League, it's so many, they'll be replaced, within a second. So it's like there's nothing you can do about this problem right here. That's
okay.
Fair
enough.
I think we could tell convince these gliders and wake them up out of this fucking brainwashing they're in. I would rather be tasked with that than to be tasked with changing these Sun teams.
That's fair, but even then, I don't know. Because they are who they are, right? DNA, maybe?
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah, DNA with both. Yeah, DNA with both. You're definitely right. Product of Cook County. What's up, Product of Cook County?
DNA or both.
Yeah.
I just got here. What's it on real quick? Just give me a quick rundown.
You can just catch up, man.
Stay. Their names aren't being released since they're juveniles. But here's what we've been able to uncover from police records in Shelby County Juvenile Court. The 16-year-old is facing a motor vehicle theft charge. One of the 14-year-olds is facing theft and a gun charge and is now out on bond. The other 2 are facing an attempted second-degree murder charge, as well as 3 counts of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of carjacking, and more. At last check, those 2 were released with electronic monitoring.
Well, 3 of these guys are on the street. 3 of these guys are on the street, man.
That's terrible.
They're carjacking as we speak,
Exactly. And that's why I don't think gliders and that part right there, we can attribute that to the glider mind. Like they can't process the fact that these guys are out carjacking people right now. They can't. It's like I just can't believe. Wait a second. We charged them with these things. We gave them an ankle monitor, so they're home and they've learned their lesson and they're just shaking in their boots for when they go back.
That's that whole shit that goes back to like like gliders, and they think that we learn from, you know what I'm saying? We learn from our own
Right.
experience type shit, or we learn from like slaps on the wrist. The only thing that we like is like some people learn from is like doing like 27 years, bro.
Yeah.
Right. The gliders are like they can't impossible. He got a curfew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
How can
That's
they
what the question was
carjack if they
about.
have an ankle monitor? They have to be in the house with the ankle monitor. Like, yeah, these the gliders are just, oh my god, yeah. I still would rather have to fix them than to fix these guys. Go ahead, man.
I was saying you said DNA or what again? Because I'm assuming it's about gliders.
It was just DNA, man.
I think it's just how they are, bro. That's just
Yeah.
how, like you said, like that's how their societies were. Like, yeah, everyone's a little different. No?
People responded to this in their society. People respond to this. A kid gets on probation, he gets an ankle monitor. 8 times out of 10, he's in the house or he's where he's supposed to be.
Yep.
Like a glider kid, right? That kind of makes sense.
Well,
Like,
only because they created that. This is the fix that they created from their mind for their crime. They have crime. This is the way that their mind collectively created a solution for it. And if you remove us from their crime stats, they're the safest large country in the world. So it does prove their crime stats, just glider crime stats under this criminal justice system, proves that it works because this would be the safest large country on the planet.
Hey,
if it was
if
just
we
them.
didn't like if it was, but just think about this though. This shit was created in what 1776, right?
No, 1619 actually.
But it was also tweaked over the years. It's been tweaked and updated.
But I'm just saying, but like the whole, you know what I'm saying, the whole, the theory, you know what I'm saying?
The skeleton.
Yeah, the foundation, right? 1776. With the trial and the speedy trial and the Bill of Rights and all the other shit.
The appeals.
Bro, listen, that shit still don't exist in Africa, dog.
Yeah, they don't have that.
Like that shit, fuck a speedy trial and rights, and you got the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, all this other shit. It's like, did you steal the popcorn? Or you did?
Right.
Cut his hands off.
Right. The some man be like, I want an appeal. What?
You want us to peel your skin off? Okay, don't burn us to death. Peel the skin off. Salute the true business, man. He says, think it's bad now. Wait for the breakdown of society. Pay attention to world events. Banks collapsing. I'm following that from a distance. The banks collapsing. Wars. Well, once the Democrats get out of office, there won't be any more wars, etc. If you are not prepared, you will be victimized. 90s jungle survivor, NP Howard Street. Are you from? Is that DC? Southeast DC? Howard Street? I don't know. NP. I know it's a Howard Street in Southeast, but I don't know where NP is. I'm not sure what NP is.
Hey, what about China? China started to sound like they're getting ready to invade Taiwan.
Yeah, I mean it's going down in the field, man. It's going down, and we ain't gonna do a motherfucking thing. We ain't gonna do a motherfucking thing when they.
Hey, if China want Taiwan, they can have Taiwan right now.
Yeah, we ain't gonna
I think so. Oh, they're gonna go for it. But you heard what they said recently, right?
But
they were saying how the U.S. is a problem in the world. That the U.S. has been causing conflict and strain on world affairs, and that it's about time that pretty much somebody does some shit about it. I promise they said some shit like that.
Yeah, but that's a lot of talking. Japan don't want no smoke, but we don't want to even.
No, China.
China don't want no smoke, but we don't want to go through the trouble of giving them smoke because it's like yeah, you kick the guy's ass, but he fucking pokes your eye out and fucking gives you fucking hepatitis or some shit. It's like it ain't worth it. So it's like
I'm telling you right now, the USA told China to condemn Russia's actions in Ukraine, and what China did was immediately announce that they're strengthening relationships with Russia.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we just got a bitch ass dude in office right now, man. We get we get a fucking we get DeSantis or Trump back, like all that shit gonna come to a halt because they already know what we capable of. You know what I'm saying? We got these woke ass military motherfuckers, whatever, these ads and all the other shit. But when it all comes like said and done, we are quicker to push that button than any other country.
Yep. And
back that shit up.
They could attack us too, though. They could definitely attack us too.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though.
They ain't gonna be able to attack us like we can attack them. We can turn fucking countries to parking lots.
They could too.
Well,
no, the fuck they can't. No, they can't.
If we think about it, man, there's a reason why can't nobody fucks with us. There's a reason why all other countries have had wars on their land, and the only real war we've had on U.S. soil was 9/11. Nobody else comes here to fight. All the wars we fight on other people's turf. During the Iraq War and during fucking Vietnam, the Vietnams wasn't coming over here.
Hey, Wicked, you underestimating the type of shit that we got. You gotta understand that we stole from everybody, man. Like we got all that technology, we got all the money. We're spending $14 trillion to Ukraine just because we don't want to send our own fucking kids over there.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I think you're underestimating China and Russia.
Nah, China and Russia are being overestimated.
Yeah,
Russia ain't got no fucking real fucking military, dog. If Russia had a real military, Russia would have took over fucking Ukraine in 2 days.
Yeah, it's not.
So
it's not.
Yeah,
like
Russia's fucked.
Yeah, Russia's
Russia got like a whole bunch of land, and they occupying what percentage of the land over there?
So what happened with Afghanistan and Iraq? We lost.
What you mean? What happened with Afghanistan and Iraq?
Did we win? We didn't. Where did we win?
We went over there. No, we went over there and was trying to be nice. I'm just saying, like, if somebody bomb us or treat us a certain way or kill some of us, like on our land, it's gonna be all fucking like everything gonna go aside, bro. We got nuclear fucking
it'll be
weapons.
Hiroshima.
That go crazy.
It'll be Hiroshima.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki in this bitch.
Bro, they kill Americans with fentanyl, bro. They send that shit over.
Yeah, the war in Iraq was over in like 2 weeks. The rail war, that was gone. Then it was just occupation.
They was just trying to spread democracy and all
Yeah,
that
was the
bullshit.
stupid part. They should have just killed that motherfucker and left.
Most people don't respond to democracy. They want a strong man. They want a strong leader that doesn't take no shit on the world stage. They don't want fucking democracy in those countries.
Dude, nobody wants that shit. Like we're trying to force that shit on people.
Yo, we're struggling, bro. How can we deal with them when we're struggling internally? Between the alphabet and the sun, man, we have no idea what the fuck's going on.
That's like
those are social issues.
Yeah, that's social shit. Like that's not like on the world stage. Like, yeah, they trying us right now because they know Crazy Joe not gonna do shit because he like old and senile. But they know for sure if we get like a strong leader in here and we like actually let the military be the military, they not gonna fuck with us, bro.
I mean, I also will say, I can't remember who, I don't know who said it, but like if something were to occur, I wouldn't even say so big, like just anything, like any enemy comes on American soil, people don't want to give up this life that we have over here. Like a lot of people do not want to lose what we have, bro. It's so easy living in the US. No one wants to give that shit up. So right away, I think we'll just go and start smacking up people, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just not going to be like, it's great life over here. You think anyone wants to just give that? You think we're that? I will say, like, we've gotten weaker, maybe socially, internally, but you think people want to give this up? Fuck no, I wouldn't want to.
No, we lost pride of being American. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's what I'm saying.
After 9/11 and shit like that, that was like, that's why like the millennials and all the other shit, like a lot of millennials don't really think of racism and like all that shit. That wasn't like a big thing when we were growing up type shit. The only thing that was like nowadays, like people actually like, they don't have no pride of American, like the fucking what is it? The national anthem is fucking racist and all this other shit. And they thinking about other shit. I remember like standing up, the flag. I remember standing up every day, putting my hand on my heart, you know what I'm saying, and being proud to be American after 9/11. That brought us together.
I mean, I will say, as someone who's younger, like I've been to my, my football games even when I was in high school, and I've seen people new and shit. I've gotten shit from other people for standing up and putting my hand on my, hand on my heart or whatever like that. Or I also do a scout salute because I'm a boy. I'm an Eagle Scout, so I've gotten little shit for that. I've never lost that myself, and I will say, like I said before, if something were to happen here, I think people will get that shit back right away.
Yeah.
Because man,
And
we
that's the truth. That's the truth. And that's the only thing that's gonna unite this country though. If we go to something like that and we gotta choose sides versus like, you know what I'm saying, we gotta be American or fucking the communist China or Russia. And that's the only
yeah,
thing that's gonna bring us back because we've been divided like a motherfucker. Like this
yes, we have.
whole 2020 and all that police bullshit, blah 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 blah. It's just division.
Like yeah, man. Like if return like internally, if anything were to go down or whatever, like if we had like a small civil war or whatever, I think people would be ready to turn up and say, "Well, I'm proud to be American." Like that's all it takes. It takes one little war or
Yep.
one enemy to come on soil. People will
I
put all
I
that bullshit they had right away.
I doubt it. To be honest, I don't think that. I think we're so divided. The liberals are not going to come to terms with us. They're not. They're too far gone.
Yeah, Trump
Hey,
goes to
hey,
war, liberals are not going to support it.
no, you're crazy. Listen, you're crazy. Y'all crazy. If we go to war and we got a common enemy,
And
they're
Trump
gonna
is the
join.
one taking us to war? No,
They're
they're not.
yes, they're gonna join, bro. They're gonna join. They're
I
gonna
think you're
join.
underestimating how much liberals love pop. Like they hate people who don't fucking agree with them.
No, I mean I get that. They hate that shit, but they don't want to fucking fight. They when motherfuckers start dying, they're looking at the alpha. And the alpha will be the military. And the military will unite. It's not about what the fuck Trump gonna do. It's about that military. It's about like they're trying us on our homeland or they're killing our kids over in China or in Russia. We gotta come together.
There was people on this panel, Crook, that were pro Russia, talking about how Russia this and that, as opposed to America. I don't know. I just don't know.
I no, I'll say this too. I'll give you that too, Wicked, because I even personally, like, I know some people that are very pro, like, communists or whatever in my life, and I tell them, like, bro, I don't know if you've ever lived in something like that. Like, if you really want to go to like Central America or some shit and go live in where they're at, see if you like it yourself.
Failed states.
I'm gonna have to be honest. I agree with Ak. The liberals will. I feel like they'll just easily give this shit up. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
They'd almost invite them.
definitely. I mean, but thank God that we're here. Conservatives are here. Salute to Savage. Savage says the more guilt and compassion felt will make the cultural absorption more absolute of all the nations the slaves dispersed to. Wow. Um, yeah. Salute to Arif. Arif, I'll give you another chance. Arif, once, on twice. Arif, on three times. All right, boom. Let me just go ahead and finish this video up.
17-year-old the next day. Their names aren't being released since they're juveniles. But here's what we've been able to uncover from police records in Shelby County Juvenile Court. The 16-year-old is facing a motor vehicle theft charge. One of the 14-year-olds is facing theft and a gun charge and is now out on bond. The other two are facing an attempted second-degree murder charge, as well as 3 counts of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of carjacking, and more. At last check, those 2 were released with electronic monitoring.
What we really need is what I'd call a healthy sense of urgency.
Memphis Shelby Crime Commission President Bill Gibbons says a series of issues must be addressed.
Right now, our system of community supervision for serious offenders is simply not adequate.
He believes the child should be checked on every day, figuring out what they need and getting them on the right track.
We have some entities that are capable of doing that.
But Gibbons says it will take funding. Mayor Jim Strickland says he and other stakeholders have asked for.
Just look at the way they talk. Figuring out what they need. The fuck you mean what they need? They need to fucking have time to go rob and steal with their friends and shoot at each other. That's what they want to do. What do you mean? What do they need? There's nothing you can give them other than some free food and some money. They don't want anything from you but food and money.
They can't comprehend
$100
this.
million state grant the governor's office launched for public safety.
And this $6 million grant will allow us to all partner and focus our attention on these young people and these families and meet with them 2-3 times a week and find out what's going on.
Strickland says juvenile court doesn't have the funding to do that.
They don't have the resources to handle the volume, this high volume of juvenile crime.
I alone.
You heard that? That's what we're talking about. Like it wasn't made for this.
Hey, that's the mayor, right?
Yeah, that's the mayor.
Now you're a nice guy, man.
Families.
Yeah, he's nice.
And meet with them 2-3 times a week and find out what's going on.
Strickland says juvenile court doesn't have the funding to do that.
They don't have the resources to handle the volume, this high volume of juvenile crime.
I alone can't fix this. This system alone can't fix this. It's going to take a concerted effort by those that are in positions to bring resources to the table.
Last year, juvenile court reported more than 900 juveniles were assessed and referred to appropriate services. About a third were offered a program called Ceasefire Gun Safety, which aims to divert youth caught with a gun. Some are referred to multiple programs and services. However, juvenile court says they don't track the outcomes beyond the interaction of the court. State lawmakers have also taken up the issue of juvenile justice in an ad hoc committee. They came up with solutions like more mental health services and 200 more secured state beds. No official plan has been passed yet, but what's clear, MPD says they're encountering more juvenile suspects. 4,000 arrests just last year.
That's a lot of fucking juvenile arrests, man. Golly, man. I mean, golly. And this is a city with 600,000 people. This isn't like fucking
Right.
Metropolis and shit.
Yo, God bless those pigs, dog. They're working hard.
Christ.
Yo, Ak, what do you think would happen if they threw sun teens in jail like they do in like Japan? Like they don't fuck around in Japan. Like what do you think would happen to like
It would be like you'd be building more prisons because it would never stop. You would literally have fucking mass incarceration. You would have mass incarceration.
What do you think about corporal punishment?
You know what I think about it.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea.
Like if you like say maybe not for murder or something, but like if you were caught in a pile of guys robbing a 7-Eleven, you get like 10 lashes.
Oh, that's it? Only 10?
10, 15, whatever. But like, do you think that would? Because I think that physical pain.
Oh, that would work. Oh yeah, of course it would work. Everyone knows it would work. But we're so far away from that, man. We're so far away from that. But yeah, everyone knows that works. You gotta you got the shit playing in the background. But yeah, we would yeah, of course that would work with aliens. Pain, you know, like a beating is like it works. It's foolproof, man. It works with a robbery. Give me your money. No. Boom. Give me your money. Here. I mean, that works all the time, man. I mean, that is literally the foundation of like fucking what do you call it? Fucking convincing somebody some shit, or it's the foundation. Violence.
So yo, they don't want to do mass incarceration because optically it looks terrible, or like
No,
they can
because here's the
everybody.
thing though. If you are like, think about this city, right? These 4,300. Give me a number. How many of those arrests you think are sun teens? Just give me a number.
3,800.
4,000.
You said 3,800. I would say okay. Let's just 3,800. That's fair. I would say 4,000. But if you want to say 3,800, that's fair. Okay, so 3,800 of these arrests are one group. I mean, that complains and bitches all the time and has fucking all types of fucking. The whole world is on their nutsack right now. I mean, come on, man. Like, come on. You can't do that.
Yeah,
you
true.
can't
Yeah,
stand
true,
still.
true. Yeah.
You know, it's all the same group, man. Everyone knows who it is. Man. Everyone knows, man. Um, it's just sheesh, that's a lot
But
of
but
fucking guilt.
but worse than that is speaking on it. Like saying what you just said is worse than
Yeah,
them doing it.
for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. And that's the privilege that they have now. Um, and I just could imagine growing up in this time how that just makes them worse because you like we didn't have that, man. You were called a hoodlum. You were called a thug. You were called things like you were looked at as even the bad boys, like the bad boys, or you was fucking delinquent. You were kind of like you weren't like in the mainstream. These guys are mainstream. These teens that are doing these carjackings and these shootings, they're mainstream.
Year, and 70% of kids caught stealing vehicles are repeat offenders.
They know that nothing's going to happen to them, so they know they can get right back out again and go do it again.
MPD Deputy Chief Stephen Chandler.
I think it's just their daily lives. There's lack of parental oversight. For one thing, parents are working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to keep their head above water, and lack of community involvement.
He says intervention has to happen at an early age. The youngest they've arrested this year, 9 years old.
We don't want to see them wrapped up in a system of incarceration.
Something this woman doesn't want to see either.
Now it's come around full circle to where I'm sad again, and I just really want them to get help.
Due to state laws, information is limited on what's in store for the juveniles she encountered that night. We do know at least one of them has a record. The 17-year-old was arrested twice before in a matter of months, totaling 11 charges.
This is a perpetuated problem. This isn't new. And no, this wasn't just dark-skinned kids. This was a white kid as well. This is a society.
She said it wasn't just dark-skinned kids; it was a white kid as well.
Like, who gives a shit?
She does, because she gets to feel good that she's not attacking black. She only said that so she could talk about punishment. Once she started talking about punishment, she had to let you know that one of them was white.
See, like, this is the one thing people always say, like, this country's still pretty racist. Just for shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, you still brought race into it. Like, this is
She's
just
racist
about
against the white
juveniles.
person though. But she's racist against the white person. She's racist against the white person. She's the one who brought up the white guy's race. She
Right.
knows that it's that white kids aren't out here doing that shit.
Shit, maybe you know what? Fisherman might have had a point. I don't know. Shit.
I'm always confused by these socialists and communists, right? Because when I speak to friends that claim they're communists, I'm confused because last I heard Mao and Stalin were butchering everybody. So how in the fuck? So if you don't want to put, because a friend of mine who's a self-proclaimed communist had his car jacked at gunpoint by some kids, from what he tells me, and he wouldn't press charges. He said, he called it a blessing, actually, believe it or not. But it confused me because, yeah, he said I have insurance, I got a better car. What anyway? But Mao and Stalin were butchering all these people. Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just they don't. It just the dissonance, the cognitive dissonance of liberals, the ability to just only parrot talking points and to just completely reject anything that's outside of that. It's almost like a religion, man. It's almost like they're being a liberal is like
A cult. It's a fucking cult.
The juveniles she encountered that night. We do know at least one of them has a record. The 17-year-old was arrested twice before in a matter of months, totaling 11 charges.
This is a perpetuated problem. This isn't new. And no, this wasn't just dark-skinned kids. This was a white kid as well. This is a societal problem that's going to keep happening until we really find the source of it. It's a cancer.
Jessica Gertler, WREG, News Channel 3.
All right, looking for something to break that cycle of crime. And as soon as we hear if Mayor Strickland is awarded that grant.
Oh God. And on that note, man, peace out. I'm out, man. Take it easy.
Peace.
Peace.